Hello, 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 everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into Utopia TV tonight. We are so happy and excited to be here. Just so you know, September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and we are raising money tonight for the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America. The SCDAA is the nation's headquarters for sickle cell disease support, advocacy, and of course, the search for a cure. Sickle cell disease, if you don't know, or SCD, is a group of inherited red blood cell disorders, common among those whose ancestors come from sub-Saharan Africa, Spanish-speaking regions such as South America, the Caribbean, and Central America, Saudi Arabia, India, and the Mediterranean. Those with SCD experience chronic pain and other serious problems such as infection, acute chest syndrome, and stroke. So it would be awesome if you could help by donating to our fundraiser by using !charity in the Twitch chat to get the Tiltify link, and we do have a Tiltify widget bar showing our progress for tonight. So thank you all so much for tuning in to support #BIPOC Vamp Day. So let's get right into our premiere of Utopia TV celebration of this incredible day of BIPOC vampires. This is I Want Your Bite by Rue or Ilana Knight on itch. So if you like this game, give it a buy, search it up on itch. So let's get started without further ado. You. That's right. I'm talking to you. Not the players, not the producer behind this curtain, you. The person watching this or listening to this, you are scrolling through Twitter or Tumblr or TikTok when you get a Twitch notification that reads The Vampire Bachelor Season 1 debut. You're intrigued. You're enticed, even. So you click on it and you wait through a 30-second commercial for Chevy. And then the stream starts. We are going to open on a glamour shot of a manor that looms at the top of a mossy hill overlooking the small, sleepy town of Sweetwater, where everyone knows everyone. We see the estate's sprawling lawns, a hedge maze with animals carved out of shrubs, and of course, a regulation-sized swimming pool in the backyard rippling with crystal blue water. And then you hear an announcer's voice, sweet as the town this show's taken place in, say, "Good evening, friends and foes, blood bags and biters, mortals and undyings, and welcome to the series premiere of The Vampire Bachelor. 4 contestants arrive at Heartbreak Manor to compete for the love of a beautiful, handsome, wealthy, eligible vampire bachelor. And at the end of 3 glorious days, one winner will be chosen by our vampire and receive the ultimate gift, her bite and immortal, undying life." Now we're gonna sweep up the flagstone stairs of this massive front porch. We're gonna see the double doors swing open, revealing a grand foyer carved from sheets of dazzling marble, something out of a Hollywood film set. A chandelier dangles from the ceiling, its crystals glimmering above a staircase that winds up either side of the atrium. And at the very top of this staircase sits a throne carved from gold-plated bone. Glittering femurs comprise the legs, humeri make up the arms, and a half skull is mounted at the top of the throne. And seated on this throne of bones is a woman. She leans against a gold-embossed ulna, one ankle propped lazily across the other knee. She wears a leather jacket studded with spikes, a low-slung tunic tucked into a pair of high-waisted, skinny black jeans, and a pair of steel-toed boots, one of which has undone laces. Her dark hair is dyed powdery white at the top, shorn on the sides and gelled up. And even though she's got this jacket on, you can tell she's built like a brick shithouse, as though her muscles are chiseled from marble. This is Elegy. But if you're brave or very, very stupid, you can call her Elle. Elegy is our vampire bachelor for this season, and now we cut to a montage of Elegy across the ages. We see her in ancient Greece, draped in nothing more than a tunica, lurking in the shadows of a temple to Ares, her brown eyes lit with a crimson glow as she watches a pretty little thing light votive candles. And then we're going to cut to her walking out of the temple, wiping a smear of blood from her lips. Next, we see her in ancient China, wearing a nobleman's robes, leaned up against the wall of a shrine and talking sweetly to a giggling maiden. Elegy moves in, and quick as a flash, she bites the maiden's exposed neck, and we're gonna pan up to a glowing moon lighting up a darkened sky as we hear a gasp of agony and ecstasy as Elegy does something beautifully unspeakable to the maiden. And finally, we're gonna see Elegy in the dirty, cobbled, disgusting, gross streets of industrial Britain, where the bodies of gang members litter a rain-slicked alleyway. The final mobster is back against a wall, gasping and panting, sweating, unsheaths a hidden blade from his sleeve and rushes her. But poof, Elegy vanishes. He staggers forward, slipping on the rain-sleek cobblestones, and then Elegy, poof, reappears behind him and snaps his neck. As he falls limply to the ground like a puppet with strings cut, she strolls away from the scene of this murder, having decided that none of these fools are worthy to drink from, only to kill. And now we're gonna cut back to the present, where Elegy is leaning on this throne of gold-plated bone, watching the front doors, waiting for the first contestant to arrive. The doors creak open, and I need each of you to roll me a flat 2d6 to see who gets there first. What'd you get, Noah? Noah, what was your result?
Oh, me. 2.
A 2. Salem, what about you?
I got a 6.
A 6? Leanne?
I got a 7.
A 7. Rose, can you beat that?
Absolutely not. I got a 5.
Ooh, looks like Leanne is going to be the first to go. Let me just write this down. Salem got a 6. I feel like I'm doing initiative in this very non-D&D system. Noah got a 2, and Rose got a 5. Okay. Leanne, as the doors creak open and you enter into this vast foyer, why don't you give us a taste? Give us your character introduction. Who are you? What do you look like? And how are you entering?
Yes, so we see a fairly small woman enter the foyer. She has sort of long, dark, curly hair. She's wearing a very sort of goth outfit, but from a sort of, this is what a hot goth would be perspective. It is very much put on. This is not her natural aesthetic, but she's owning it. And she sort of slinks up towards the bone throne. And introduces herself, sort of leans in towards Elegy, I think, and tries her best to make an impression.
Okay, I think as you're like going up the marble stairs, how are you carrying yourself? Are you putting a little strut in that stride, or are you like being more confident and businesslike, or something else?
Absolutely a strut, like slinky strutting. Very fun.
Okay. Yeah, totally. You see Elegy sort of like cocks her head to the side with some interest, and her like brown eyes go down your body. She's like taking in the movement of your, of your hips as you sway up the stairs. And I think before you reach Elegy, we're gonna cut to like a pre-recorded like glamour shot. You know how like Bachelor contestants do like they like turn and like flash and they cut like against like a green screen, and there's sort of like a monologue about who you are, where you're from. So why don't you give us a taste of that? Like who's Leanne? What's Leanne's story?
Yeah, so we get sort of a bunch of different cuts of Leanne sort of doing extremely glamorous, like wind flowing through her hair, posing, but her sort of voiceover is very much just like, hi, I'm Leanne Zavala. I am a PhD student at the local university here. I'm studying queer theory in tabletop games, but that's not important. But I'm really just here looking for love. I want so much to meet Elegy. When I heard that she was the Bachelor, I was just so excited. I love her so much. Like, I've seen, these videos of her, and it's just, So yeah, I'm here for love. I'm not here to make friends.
Ooh, I love that. That's how you're entering it. We cut back to you, like, finally reaching the top of the stairs. Elegy, like, leaned against this throne, looks up at you and says the first words out of her mouth, the entire series, like, premiere of Elegy's voice. She says, "So you're a gamer."
Oh my god. Leanne says, "Do you like to play games?"
Yes, but not when hearts are involved. What about you?
Oh, I'm not here to play games with your heart, certainly.
I hope not. And she gets up from the throne and actually leans forward in a very gentlemanly fashion to take your hand and kiss it, if you'll let her.
Yeah, absolutely.
She kisses it and then lets you go. Like, her lips are like cold, right, and dry. I think it's like summer, but she looks like very cool. And you get the sense it's probably because she's an undead vampire, right? And she like lets go of your palm and sort of like looks up at you, like her deep brown eyes glimmering a little bit. And Elegy says, "Well, let's hope you roll a natural 20 on my heart." And sort of like lets you go to like stand off to the side. I think where like the contestants are allowed to stand like up on this foyer as you like come in one by one. And so Leanne, is that the end of your introduction, or is there like one more thing you want to do or say?
I think that just as she's letting go of my hand, I will let my hand sort of run down the front of her shirt. But otherwise, yeah, no, I'm good.
You do that, and I think your fingers like graze just like a little bit of like exposed skin, like her pectoral muscle, and you're like, whoa, ooh, she's fit, right? Like you like graze it, and like you step off to the side. And she like looks at you askance, and then looks back down this tall tower of stairs to the front gates that swing open again. And our next contestant to enter is gonna be Salem. Salem, tell us who you are, what you're about, and how you're entering.
Hi, I'm Salem Noir, and that's all you need to know. Salem is in like 6-inch dagger stiletto heels, a short black dress, these like spiderweb tights, and she got body. Long legs, thick thighs, kind of like broader shoulders. She's built like a swimmer. And she knows that any outfit that she puts on is going to immediately cinch her waist. She is snatched to hell. She saunters in, scales up those stairs like ain't nobody business. And the way that she walks, it's clear that either maybe she was a dancer, maybe she's just that graceful, but she has definitely been wearing heels for years. Natural, flow, model-like. And the way that she just saunters on up and enters the room like she owns it, it's a combination of business and sexy, knowing that all eyes are on her.
Yeah, you see like Elegy like even straightens up a little bit, like on the throne, sort of like gives you a once over and is like nodding to herself as you like saunter up very confidently, like you own this place, up the stairs, and you stop at the top, like where you're facing Elegy, and you also see Leanne like standing off to the side looking at you. So we're gonna do the same sort of like a monologue voiceover that we did for Leanne as we cut to like various glamour shots. So why don't you tell us what we see Salem doing and like what the monologue is?
So it cuts to the monologue, and Salem is just going, "Hi, I'm Salem. You know, aspiring actor, artist, lover of people just in general. I like being in the spotlight because I know that's where I fit. And I'm looking for love, but I'm mostly looking for just a good time. And believe me, there's no way you can get a better time than with a vampire."
Okay, so then we cut back to you at the top. And how are you going to be introducing yourself to Elegy? What are the first words that come out of your mouth to greet her?
You know, pictures don't do you justice.
It's very hard to get me on camera. And Elegy sort of like stands up and also takes your hand to kiss it as well. Are you going to let her?
Absolutely.
Okay, she picks up your hand, kisses it, maintains eye contact through it. And like she like sniffs a little and like lowers your hand back to you. What kind of perfume are you wearing, Salem? Because I feel like Salem's the type to wear fragrance. You know what I mean?
Just like not too much fragrance, just a little bit. She smells a lot um like cinnamon and milk. Like she smells like arroz con leche. Like she smells like the Caribbean, to put it simply. Like an abuelita's spice cabinet.
Mm. Yeah, you get the sense that like Elegy is digging the smell, like is like nodding and like picking it up and like lets you go and says, "Well, two lovely ladies to choose from. I don't know how I'm gonna make this decision. Thank you both for being here."
As like Salem walks off, she goes, "Trust me, I don't know how I'm gonna make this decision either." And kind of eyes, and also kind of eyes Leanne, just like, "Oh, you're hot too."
Ooh, Leanne, how are you responding to this competitor checking you out?
I mean, she's hot too, so I'm gonna, also check her out, but, a little aggressively, I think.
Okay.
Like, I'm the bad bitch here. Like, I don't know what you think you're doing, but...
God, it's like a top vs top energy. Like in here, like Beyblades pinging off of each other in the bedroom is what I think's gonna happen. So as Salem struts off and like takes her place by the throne, the door swings open again, and next into this grand foyer is gonna be Rose. So Rose, who are you? What do you look like? And how are you walking into here?
Rose is this very tall, very I guess willowy would be the adjective I'd use here. Indian man with this long, straight, bright pink hair. Um, he is wearing this quite dapper suit with a rose in his buttonhole because you gotta be cheesy. You gotta be cheesy. He walks in. For a split second, you see the hint of nerves cross his face as he looks around, but then he takes a deep breath, and the smile that um, brightens his face is just luminescent as he walks, not confidently, but calmly and steadily towards the throne.
A really big change of pace from these two bad bitches who came in here earlier. So, Rose, as you're sort of like walking up, like calmly, like collecting your thoughts, I think the nerves are pretty plain on your face. So I think pretty much everyone in this room can read that you're a little anxious, but like obviously this is a big deal. So you're like going up the stairs, and you see Elegy sort of like raise an eyebrow in interest, looking down at this very different competitor from like Salem and Leanne, right? So as you're going up the stairs, why don't we also get those glamour shots of Rose and that monologue? Why don't you tell us, give the audience a taste?
I think it starts off with some B-roll footage of him in his florist, kind of like crafting these very beautiful bouquets, and then it cuts to him sitting in his living room, kind of like putting a very large ginger cat just like on the ground and being like, "Go away, go away." And he looks back at the camera and he says, "Hi, I'm Rose. I work at the local florist shop. I have for years now. I am very excited to be on the show. Um, just the experience of meeting a vampire is going to be so life-changing, whether I win or not. Like, who can say that they've met a vampire, let alone flirted with one? Just, I'm really excited to be here." And I think it cuts back to him in front of the throne.
Okay. So as Elegy sort of sizes you up, like is like nodding and looking at you, you can sort of see like almost like, I don't want to say predatory, but like a very like the smile that a bobcat might have upon seeing like an unsuspecting rabbit in the forest. She sort of smiles and like cocks her head to the side. So how are you going to introduce yourself to her, Rose?
I think Rose will sort of do a quite graceful bow, and he'll say, "It's so lovely to meet you."
Shy little flower lost in a thorn bush. It's nice to meet you too. And she like picks up your hand and kisses it, like maintaining eye contact like with everyone else. Like she's trying to like get a read on you, and then lets you go.
Uncharacteristically from his entire intro, Rose keeps very steady eye contact with you as you kiss his hand.
Mm-hmm. She smiles, lets you go, and says, I hope you enjoy your stay here at Heartbreak Manor.
I hope you enjoy my company.
Let's see.
And he'll join the others.
Okay. As you walk past Salem and Leanne, how are the two of you reacting to Rose's entrance? This like gentle Bambi amidst these two like powerful, right? Like I feel like A-class wolves almost.
I think we get a quick cutaway of Leanne saying, if Elegy doesn't eat him alive in the first night, I will.
Yeah, then we're gonna cut back to like Leanne's face. What kind of an expression do you have on as you're eyeing Rose as he passes you?
I think she's sort of raising an eyebrow and smirking at him, just looking pretty skeptical, not threatened.
What about you, Salem?
I think for Salem also, there's just a real quick cutaway, and she just goes, a young wolf has entered the lion's den. I wonder who will come out on top. And it cuts back, and she's just kind of like eyeing Rose and just goes, you have a sweet face. Let's hope that sweetness lasts forever.
Rose goes bright red, and he just kind of like shyly just kind of waves as he like, I'm guessing like we're all like lined up, just very like, yeah, this is fine. This is what I signed up for. This is good.
Lovely. You take your place amongst the other three contestants, and now it's time for the final contestant to make their grand entrance. The doors open up for the final time, and in comes Noah. Noah, why don't you tell us who you are, what you look like, and how you're entering? You are muted.
I am muted. Ha. Noah is an androgynous Asian person of average height and build, probably about 5'10". They've got long black hair that has been like Dutch braided all the way down the back, and the braid actually reaches like mid-waist area. Like he's got long hair. His skin is about a mid-brown, and I think the feature of theirs that sticks out the most is their nose. The bridge of their nose is crooked as if it got broken in the past and never healed properly. Noah's wearing, I'd like to imagine this, a suit, like a black suit that is like, would be just a normal boring black suit, but it's been embroidered with flowers. And he's wearing a pin that has a D20 on it on one of the lapels. And instead of like a dress shirt, I think like a traditional like collared dress shirt, I think it's like a Mandarin collar. And yeah, the outfit looks pretty nice because I know that the contestants always dress up for the first impression. So that's what Noah's wearing. And I also like to imagine, I think there's like, do you remember when like the little like hair tinsel was in? Like you could tie little like golden. So I think he's got like golden tinsel in his hair just for like this thing. And so he walks in and he takes sort of a look around the room just to take it all in, and there's an audible like wow, but it's so quiet they put like the captions on the bottom of the screen. It just says wow. And I walk up to the steps, and as I'm walking up, I'm just sort of taking it all in, looking at the throne, looking at you, Elegy, and I look off to the side at the other three people who've arrived. And I think we cut to the glamour shots. I think it cuts to a storefront in the town, a game store called Legends, and the camera is just like hand cam work inside showing the store, and Noah is seated at like behind the counter, like running the store. And there's like all sorts of people, mostly youth, playing games, talking with each other. There's like video games going in the corner, like that kind of thing. And behind the counter, there are several plaques of various titles from fencing championships that all have Noah's name on them. And and then the voiceover is Noah speaking, and he says, hello, my name is Noah Chan, and I am 32. I was born and raised in Sweetwater, and in my past, I was a fencer. I fenced professionally for quite some time in college, but I ended up dropping out of professional competitions. I was slated to go to the Olympics, but I decided that wasn't really in the cards for me. I finished out school, and now I run this game store. This is my love. This is my life. I spend all my time here, and I just want to provide a safe place in town for people of marginalizations to have a safe place to hang out and play games and meet new friends, and to just provide that support system for everybody and make sure everybody feels welcome in games and whatnot. I'm excited to be here. I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope it's good. It cuts back to I've reached the top of the stairs. And I think he pulls his braid over one shoulder, and he's going to clasp his hands and just make a bow in front of Elegy. And I think he's going to reach for your hand to try and kiss your hand if you take it.
Ooh, reversal. Yes, I think you make the bow. Elegy sort of turns her head the other way and allows you to take her hand. How do you kiss it?
I think I don't make eye contact. I lean down and I kiss it, and then I look up at you after that, and I just say, I'm pleased to make your acquaintance, Miss Elegy.
Charmed, I'm sure. You know, if your sweet talking is anything like your fencing, you might be one of the strongest competitors here.
I don't mind a little friendly competition. Oh, and one more detail. I think I do have sword earrings.
Nice. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. She smiles and sort of like retrieves her hand from your grasp very like politely and like nods at you. Yep. And says, I love the hair.
Thank you. I grew it myself.
All right. Well, why don't you take a spot next to your other competitors and let's get started.
Of course. And I walk over and I kind of like pass everyone because I'm assuming my spot's on the very end. Mm-hmm. And as I walk past everyone, I just like give everyone a nod and just say like, hi, nice to meet you, hi. I take my spot at the end.
Leanne, Salem, and Rose, how are you responding to the entrance of the final competitor?
There's a quick cutaway, and it's just Salem going.
Yep, we cut back to Salem's face as Salem's sort of eyeing Noah up and down as like Noah's walking past her. Leanne?
We get a cutaway where Leanne says, please, if they couldn't hack it at the Olympics, what makes them think they can be better competing with me?
Ooh,
Did you say hack? Did you say hack?
I didn't.
Ooh. I'm loving the tension. We cut back to Leanne's face. Even though this is how you're thinking, Leanne, how are you like responding to Noah like in person?
In person, again, the sort of slightly skeptical but unthreatened look. The only person they've really been threatened by so far is Salem.
Okay. And of course, last but not least, Rose, how are you responding to a second soft boy coming in here, trying to uproot your place as King Soft Boy?
There's a cutaway to Rose, and his head is just in his hands, and then he like springs up and he kind of looks directly at the producer, being like, You didn't tell me everyone was going to be so pretty. And then it cuts back.
Like Rose maybe like looking a little enamored at Noah as like they take their place at the end of the line. And finally, Elegy comes to a stand, right? She's gonna turn and face all four of you as you're sort of like lined up there, looking pretty, looking shy, looking cute, handsome, beautiful, however you're holding your body. And you notice that in terms of height, she's about 6 feet. So she might not be the tallest one here, if like Rose or Leanne or Salem is taller than that. But the way she carries herself just sort of like radiates power, right? Like you get the sense that the only reason she's not sort of like really like floating off the ground is because that might be too much too soon. But like you get the sense as she walks that it almost feels like the ground is beneath her, right? Like to touch. She sort of like strides forward and stops in front of the four of you and says, Noah, Rose, Salem, Leanne, it's a pleasure to meet the four of you, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to know each of you in more intimate detail over the next 3 days. I hope that your flight or your drive or your stroll into Sweetwater has treated you well. And sort of pauses, giving any of you a chance to respond if you would like to.
I think Noah just like nods and says, "Thank you. I hope we all find what we're looking for, I guess."
To that, Salem replies, I think I may have already found it.
Ooh!
Cutaway, Noah looks at the camera and just says, "What was that?" Oh. And then goes back.
Elegy laughs at that and says, unfortunately, this is still a competition, and so I have to award bites. And she takes out little like pins or badges or tokens that are shaped like vampire fangs, right? Like little like vampire
awesome.
fang, like yeah, little enamel pins or whatever. And she holds them, and all of you see that there are 3 in her hand. Actually, 4 in her hand. And she says, I will give 2 bites to the candidate who has impressed me the most with their introduction, and 1 bite to 2 runners up. And I think at this point, in terms of reality TV, like the drama magic comes in, the drama music, comes in, like dun 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 dun. We get like a lot of like tense like shots between all the candidates as you're standing there. And I want to get a cutaway as like Elegy sort of like pacing and looking at you, her expression unreadable. I want to get like a cutaway from each of you of how you're responding to like oh, am I gonna get picked? Like how are you feeling about it? So let's go to Salem first.
Salem just looks directly in the camera and goes, shit! I hope it's me. If it's not me, then I'm fucked.
And now let's go to Rose. How's Rose dealing with this? Nodding, taking this in, and holds up one bite, right, and says, the first runner-up, you really impressed me with your authenticity. I like someone who's honest with me, who's not afraid to show me their heart. Rose. And steps forward and gives Rose a runner-up bite. Rose, how do you respond?
Rose kind of like looks down at it, looks you again like very steady in the eyes and says, well, I'm glad you appreciate it.
Of course. I look forward to getting to know you more. The next runner-up bite I would like to award will go to... And like obviously the dramatic pause of like the dun 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 dun. Leanne. And she steps forward and gives Leanne a pin and says, I like how cerebral you are. I like someone who's well-read, who can match me intellectually, and someone that I can have long, deep conversations with. I feel like you might fit that bill.
Well, we'll have to see, and it looks like I'll have to impress you a little more.
Well, this is just first impressions, right? And finally, the winner, who I'm giving 2 bites to. And like looks between Noah and Salem, and it's like I think the camera's like panning like between like Noah and Salem, like slow zooming in between both of your faces, and like maybe it's like a little bit of sweat has been like photoshopped in to like trickle down like both of your temples. And it looks, Elegy's like holding out these 2 pins, and it looks like she's going to Noah, but at the last minute turns and gives like the winner spot to Salem. Salem, what can I say? I love a woman who can kick my ass. And you look like someone who can do that.
And I love kicking women's asses. Take the bites.
Oh my god. I think Elegy at that like laughs and like lets you take the bites and turns to Noah and says, Noah, this doesn't mean I don't like you. I think there's something special about you. And I think our first challenge of the night might be able to boost your bites. And she's going to turn and gesture like theatrically down the stairs where poof, like an explosion of black mist swirls around the foyer, right? And you even see like in this like orb of just like gaseous smoke, like lightning bolts are like shooting through it, right? It's like so freaking dramatic. And when the gas sort of like and the smoke rolls away and dissipates, you see left in its wake a table, a long table filled with weapons. Noah, your eye immediately is drawn to a fencing foil, but you all see like sabers, shield, dagger, bow and arrow, short bow, composite, but like hatchets, axes, clubs, whips, anything you can imagine is there, and it like looks like it's out of like a medieval torture chamber or something. Like there's just like so many weapons on this table, right? And like knightly, there's like armor too as well. Yes, Rose and Noah.
I think the camera kind of like pans to Rose's face, and he's making the exact same face I am, just like, what is happening? And then it like pans back to whoever.
I love that. Yeah, let's get cutaways. Yes, Noah, go for it.
Cutaway real quick. So after Noah doesn't get a bite, I think it cuts away, and Noah looks at the camera and just says, like this is in reference to Leanne. I might not be a PhD or what have you, but you know, school ain't really my thing, but man, suppose I can prove myself in another way, and this might be it.
Okay. Salem and Leanne, how are the two of you responding to this table full of weapons?
I think that we get a cutaway to Leanne, who sort of looks towards the table of weapons and then back to the camera and says, I have some experience with whips.
What about Salem?
It cuts away to Salem, and she just looks right into the camera and goes, ooh, kinky.
My God. Okay. So Elegy's gonna turn back to each of you and says, "Your first challenge is to fight me. Like I said, Salem, I love a woman who can kick my ass. So whoever impresses me most in this show of arms will be the winner of tonight. Anyone feel brave enough to step up?" And she's gonna start like going down the stairs, like but with her back turned, and is like gesturing for all of you to like come down the stairs with her. You all have 5 minutes to pick your weapon of choice. Go ahead. And she's gonna sort of gesture like it's a buffet table for like the four of you to inspect.
I'm picking the fencing sword.
Totally. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll pick the épée.
I dart for those daggers.
Okay. Salem runs for the daggers.
I'm going for a whip.
Okay. There are several kinds of whips. There's one that's studded with thorns and one that's not.
Studded, definitely.
Okay. You take the studded whip. What about you, Rose?
You said there were shields as well, right?
Yes, like bucklers and also like from the size of tiny bucklers to the size of like kite shields.
Okay. Quick in fiction rules question: are we allowed to take a shield and a weapon, or would it be just a shield?
You can take both. You can suit up however you want.
Okay. I think Rose is going to take a light-looking shield and maybe also a generic enough looking sword. Kind of like picks it up, kind of like the camera like zooms in and like he's just like twirling it around, kind of shrugs and like, sure, this will do.
Okay, nice. So a short sword, I'm assuming, or are you brave enough to grab a long sword along with the shield?
I think he'll grab a long sword specifically.
Okay.
For the aesthetic.
Okay, you pick it up and I think you're both surprised by how. Have you ever wielded like a long sword before in your life, Rose? In like a real way?
Probably not, no. And nor have I, the player.
Yeah, okay. Okay, fair. I think you're surprised by both how heavy and how light the longsword is. It's at once like heavier than you expected and lighter than you expected as you pick it up. And now that like all the weapon choices have been settled, like Salem, like are you picking up twin daggers or are you doing like daggers that are different from each other? Yeah, the twin aesthetic, the rogue aesthetic.
Twin daggers, 100%.
Nice. Okay.
Can I have a quick cutaway?
Yes.
Okay, so as Noah picks up this fencing épée, it'll cut away and Noah's sitting in the same like confessional thing and he just says, "I was a fencer back in the day and I haven't done it in a bit, but I think this will be the challenge for me, and if I can't do this, then what the hell am I doing here?"
Nice.
Nice. Oh, and behind them, I think is their fencing titles. The numerous fencing titles from their college days.
Totally. Upon seeing that all of you have picked your weapons of choice, Elegy smiles and says, "All right, who's brave enough to go first?"
Oh, could I do one thing first? So once per in-game day, I can help someone out. So if anyone will accept Rose's help, he'll basically just like help you like warm up, and give you a little bit of an edge. It does mean that if you succeed, I gain your points, but you do get a +1. So, does anyone want Rose's help?
Absolutely not.
Not Leanne. Solo, baby. Salem, Noah?
Salem is independent all the way.
Noah?
I think assuming one of the girls volunteers to go first, I think Noah would take your help, if only to help you warm up, because no one knows what they're doing. Because I think like the other thing, which I can't remember if I've mentioned yet, is that Noah also collects weapons. Like that's one of their hobbies. And so he's got an extensive sword collection of like historically accurate things and also more fantasy looking weird like cool things. And I think Noah notices that you look like you've never touched any of these things before. So yeah, Noah will take your help.
Okay, so you'll get a +1 to your roll when you roll.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, the soft boys are like warming up next to each other. Like maybe Rose is like helping you, but it's really Noah helping Rose here. Like, because you're like, I don't want you to get like pull a muscle or something here. So as they're warming up, Salem and or Leanne, is either of you gonna step up to the plate and be the first person to duel Elegy?
You know what? Fuck it. I'll do it.
Yeah! Our showstopper. Yes, Salem, with your
Hell
twin
yeah.
daggers. Tell me how you accept Elegy's challenge to go first.
You see Salem kind of tosses the daggers a few times and catches them expertly.
Nice.
As if she's done this a few times before.
Have you?
Before she, hey, I have a unusual talent.
Nice.
And she
Noah
kind
looks
of
impressed.
Hey, she knows what she's doing. And she kind of looks at Elegy and goes, I'll take you up on it. Before she steps forward. Please note, she's wearing dagger heels.
Oh my god.
This is very on brand.
Elegy pauses, notes your heels, and says, you can take those off if you want. I don't want you to sprain an ankle.
Oh, please. I know how to... If you don't know how to run and fight in heels, you aren't worthy of wearing them.
Ha! Well said. We have 1 minute on the clock. Show me what you got. And she's gonna like put like a hand up toward, I think like a clock at the top of like above the throne, and it's gonna start counting down like in MasterChef. And Elegy is going to bang her knuckles against each other. And there's gonna be like a puff of smoke as like these like studded studded knuckles like appear on her hands, and she sort of takes like a boxing stance. So Salem, tell me how you're approaching this duel, and then roll 2d6.
Hell yeah. So Salem approaches this duel like she walked into the building. Pure confidence, sexiness, the saunter in her steps, adding to like the sway of her hips and her thick ass thighs. And she just steps up, and the stance that she takes isn't really a full fighting stance. It's more of just something that's like a little bit open, but exudes such confidence that you know the moment that she is ready to fight, she's dropping into a cat stance to kick your ass.
Okay, so if you have an applicable skill, which I think you do, an unusual talent, which is like dagger fighting, right? You can add your score for that skill to the roll. So 2d6,
Hell
go
yeah.
for it.
Come on, baby, don't fuck me up. Hell yeah. That's 15.
What? So on a roll of 11 plus, you excel at the challenge and receive 2 points. Oh my god. So I think what it looks like is, do you come first to Elegy, or do you wait for her to get, like, attack you first?
I think Salem pauses and goes, you can come at me with everything you got. Trust me, I'm not delicate.
Okay. And sort of like Alucard in the Castlevania, like, series, like she just sort of flits forward, like leaving like mirror images of herself like behind, and it's like on you, right? And you see like a knuckle. You can tell she's holding back because she doesn't want to like kill these mortals, right? But she like starts swinging at you, like with a right hook. So like, just why don't you just describe to me how it goes generally, like how the duel looks.
Salem sees you swing at her with the right hook and immediately sidesteps it, grabs your hand, and then just brings you forward past her body. And the moment she does that, she kind of like takes her elbow and jams it into your back before hopping on top of you and slamming you down. Just going, come on now. You've been alive for hundreds of years. You can do better than this.
Thousands, darling. She says that she's sort of like panting underneath you, and she like teleports. So I think you like fall, maybe like the several inches like onto the ground, right? And she reappears behind you, and then I think ding, 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 like the timer sounds, right, for like the 1 minute. She like lowers her knuckles and says, "Well done. That was very impressive, Salem."
You'll find that I have many interesting and unusual talents if you get to know me.
Where'd you learn to fight like that?
I had brothers.
Well, my compliments to your siblings.
I'm sure that they'll be grateful to see the younger sister of the block is excelling so much. But then again, I was always the best in the family. And she kind of saunters away.
Nice. So Noah, Leanne, and Rose, do we get any cutaway reactions from y'all by like Salem literally knocking it out of the park? Like so amazing.
I think we get a Leanne cutaway where she sort of stares grudgingly at the camera and says, "Yeah, no, that was hot."
Love it.
I think a similar reaction from Noah. I think he just he's like fans himself a little bit. He's like, "Wow, color me surprised. I fighting in heels and all that. Wow, damn. Are we allowed to date each other?" Like I'm talking to like a producer off screen. Like, can we date each other?
I don't think we see an answer. Yeah, cut back.
Cut. Yeah. That sound I was talking about plays.
So funny. What about you, Rose?
I don't think there needs to be a cutaway. Like, Rose isn't even trying to hide it. Like, the camera just cuts to his face and he's just like blushing, and it's just like, everyone knows what he's thinking in this moment.
I think Salem notices everyone, especially Rose's expression, and she just kind of like hikes up her dress a little bit to show off her thighs, and she goes, "They're thick for a reason."
Ooh. Oh God, I'm digging it. Okay. You sort of saunter off with maybe twirling your daggers. And all you can see like Elegy is like nodding, like she's like raising her eyebrows, like checking Salem out a little bit, has been very impressed by Salem's performance in the arena. And now it's time for the second person to step forward and do this challenge. So who's next?
I could go.
Okay, Rose.
I think Rose feels quite hyped up after seeing that excellent display. Kind of like considers his shield for a moment, just like unbuckles it and like puts on the table and just kind of like walks up to the field arena, I guess, just kind of still twirling his longsword. I have a question for how Elegy fights. Would you say it's animalistic?
I would. It's fast and brutal. You only saw like a minute of it, but it's like, well, in the fight against Salem, it was like close quarters, like knuckles brawling, like back alley fighting. Like you have the feeling that if it was in an alley or like, she'd like pick up some sand and throw it at Salem if it were like a real fight. Like definitely like there's no honorable fighting in that specific style that she deployed against Salem.
Okay. I have a move called Furry Friends.
Oh my God.
Which I'm going to make just because my other two are cooking and telling heartwarming stories. So I'm going to make a case for furry friends in this moment.
Okay. That you can sort of read her animalistic fighting style because of your furry friends. Your furry friends skill. I'll allow it. You know what? It's more fun to allow it than not. So yeah, let's say yes. What'd you get?
That would be a 12.
Whoa. That's great. That's really good. I think as you step forward with your longsword, to sort of throw you off a little bit, she shakes her hands, the knuckles disappear. She reaches behind her back and just out of nowhere, probably a pocket dimension, another puff of black smoke pulls out a scythe. She sort of like twirls it, like very Soul Eater anime, right? Like twirls it in one hand and like catches it in the other, as she like slings it like across her shoulders and like smirks at all of you and says, "You didn't think I was going to use the same old tricks for each of you, did you? Come at me." Addressing you, Rose. But her fighting with the scythe, if she was sort of like a Wolverine and fighting against Salem, with a scythe, she's kind of like a tiger. Like a lot more power, more swiping, more turning, more aggression in that way. And a little bit more like mid to long range as opposed to like close quarters brawling with the dagger and the knuckle. So Rose, tell me how you excel at this challenge and receive 2 points.
I think it's maybe, because of the way that Rose has been presenting himself, maybe you go a little easier on him just because like he gives off this like aura of being like this very weak person. But as he as you like swing to attack, like he keeps like being able to like parry you. And you kind of you think like, oh, this guy's got maybe some talent, and so you go harder, and like because he's gone into the groove of things, he keeps being able to parry you, maybe not being able to land a blow on you, but he's very consistent in his defense.
I like it. You just sort of like keep her at bay as she's like the blade of her scythe is sort of banging against your longsword. She turns around, like twirls the scythe in the air, catches it with the other one, and tries to like hit you with the blunt side of the scythe. But you parry. Maybe you're buckling a bit, but you don't let her land a blow on you, and that's how you excel. And it's ding 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 ding. Like the minute is up, she like lowers the scythe. Ha! Wow, color me impressed. Looks like it's not just our Olympic fencer here that knows how to fight. Well done.
Rose gives that Rose kind of like chuckles nervously, kind of looks at the sword, doesn't even say anything. He's just like, that just happened, and just kind of like kind of almost runs away.
You skitter off the stage, but you did good, kid. You did good. As you get 2 points, 2 more bites to add to your repertoire. And now it's either going to be Noah or Leanne. Which one of you feels ready to test your mettle?
Did you want to go last, Noah?
I don't care.
I will go. We will leave the professional fighter for last.
Yes.
Ex-professional.
Yeah, so I think that we see Leanne step up and they sort of circle around Elegy a little bit, cracking the whip and getting a feel for it. And I think, what weapon does Elegy pull out for this?
Yes, the scythe vanishes in a wisp of black smoke, and she sort of draws her hand horizontally across the air, and like sort of where she draws appears a staff, and she catches it. You know, she's like twirling it, and again, her fighting style for each weapon has been very different. And each of them is like expert, right? I'm thinking like old guard, right? Like Andy. She's like twirling the staff and is like sort of like warming herself up. And here, like the fighting style is a lot more, I think, like monk-like. Probably a lot more like a crane with like some elegance and artistry to it, as opposed to like the close quarters brawling and like the wide, broad, powerful swipes of the scythe. So are you using a skill to help you in this challenge?
Yes. So I have fighting and brawling as one of my skills. So I think that what we see is that Leanne, seeing that Elegy is going for something a little more graceful, she says, "And here I thought you just wanted an intellectual connection." And before Elegy can answer, she drops the whip and tries to go in, just like with her fists sprawling.
Oh my god, I love it! Okay, roll 2d6 plus that skill.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh my god, what?
Watch
Y'all
me get
are
another
knocking
2.
it. Y'all are knocking it out of the park. So tell me what it looks like, Leanne, as you just go in without the whip.
Yeah, so I think it's just full-on feral. Like, she just, like, pounces at her from the side. And presumably Elegy, not quite expecting that based on the lead-up, actually gets knocked down.
I like that. Similar to Salem. Yeah, she's not expecting you to throw your weapon away, and you bull rush her and you knock her to the ground, right? And maybe like you've pinned her on top, and are you like literally like just trying to beat her ass? Like just like wailing on her?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, hey, she said she liked a woman who could beat her up.
She did.
So.
She did, yeah. So I think as you're like attacking her, you feel sort of like this ripple of magic like travel down her body right before your fist connects with your face, and like boom, you punch her, you wail on her, she goes she's like laughing as your blows glance off of her, but like you're like you're beating her up, but like sort of she's able to sort of like toss you off of her with her staff. I think she's got like, she uses it as leverage and tosses you off, and she sort of like springs backward and like twirls the staff. Well, you certainly caught me off guard. Come on, show me what you got. And she actually casts the staff to the side, and it disappears as it hits the ground, and like accepts you on your terms to like brawl with her, right? And I think like the two of you brawl it out as like ding 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 ding, like the minute is up again, and she throws her head back and laughs. That was a delight. Thank you, Leanne.
Of course. Nice to see we have a good physical connection as well.
Yes, fighting, I think, is just like dance, which is just like sex. It's just another way to get to know each other, don't you think?
Oh, entirely. Though I wouldn't mind skipping to the next two. She
laughs at this as you walk off, and I think you specifically, Liam, feel that ripple of magic go over her again, and you get the distinct feeling that she like cast some sort of spell on herself, or like did some sort of glamour so that you wouldn't like break your fist against her face, because of like vampire magic, right? So you walk off, and finally all eyes turn to Noah.
Noah raises his hand. Are we gonna be using standard fencing competition rules or whatever? Like, do you have a specific set of rules that you'd like to use for this? And, like, he's, swinging the epee around.
Will you tell me, has it changed since the 19th century?
Oh, I know how fencing works.
You can just establish canon here, Nala. You can just like say something about fencing and it'll be real.
For the audience, the gimmick with my character flaw is that Noah feels compelled to explain the rules of any sport anytime a sport is mentioned. I have not played many sports. And I picked fencing because of my partner. My partner fences, not me. So, Noah's like, all right, well, this will be a best out of 3. You'll want to poke your opponent to win.
Got it. Poking.
And you cannot go for the head or anywhere below the waist. Anything else is game.
So the torso and the arms.
Yes, that would be
okay.
It. Correct.
I would just like to amend that for fairness' sake. We'll also set a timer on it. See if we even get to 3 rounds. 1 minute on the clock. And she like gestures to the clock, which resets itself. And she's going to, for the final duel with Noah, like sort of reach behind her back and like out of nowhere pull out like a fencing foil. That looks like it's from the 19th century, probably. As she pulls it out, she's sort of like twirling her wrist. It's been a while since I've dueled with an actual foil.
That
1892.
Makes 2 of us, I guess.
May 2nd, Paris. It appears that it's been shorter for you, but I wonder if this will help you grease that groove. Let's go.
On guard.
Okay, on guard. So why don't you roll 2d6 and add your fencing skill, I'm assuming.
How did the skills work? So if I have an applicable thing, I can add a +1?
Your skills are, I think, default +2, correct me if I'm wrong, for the challengers, and you get to pick one when you make your characters to make it a +3. So one skill that's slightly better than the rest.
I did not even see that. What the heck? So my skills...
yes, Ravi, did I interpret that wrong?
Oh, no.
Did I say the rules wrong? Uh-huh.
And I also have a +1 from Ravi. That's the only
Yes,
thing.
yes, you do. You have another +1. Yep.
I think physical prowess. No, team building. Team building will be my +3 because
Okay.
that fits the character. So physical prowess, I think, would be the one that applies here. So that's a
Okay.
+2, and then plus Rose's 1, I get +3.
Yeah, go for it. Make that roll.
Oh my god, that's good. Okay, that's an 11 total. That's okay. That's okay.
Everyone excels at this first solo challenge. So tell
Damn.
me how you excel and get 2 points.
I think so. I said best out of 3, so I think Elegy gets one on me first, and then we even out the score. And I think it's even. Like you get one, I get one, you get one, I get one, and then it's like final death, and there's like 10 seconds left. And I think this entire time, Elegy I think has been more offensive. It seems like she would play more offensive than me.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, and I think I use that to my advantage, and I let you overextend, and I bop you on the shoulder.
Nice. And then ding, 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 as soon as you land that final point. Ding, ding, ding. So how does it feel to get back into fencing? It's been a while, but does the form just rush back like muscle memory, or is it a little harder?
I think so. I think, like, I definitely feel rusty, and I think anyone who has paid attention to fencing, like back when I was like one of the top fencers in the country, like knows that I like this bout, or I don't even know what the fuck they're called. This bout was really rusty for me. But I still have that innate skill from all those years of training. And I think after I do that, I tuck the foil just like under my arm to extend my hand for a handshake.
Yeah, she shakes her hand. Sportsmanship, right? She like shakes her hand. That was good. You got me on that last one.
They you fight good. And I suppose when you've had a lot of time to practice, that would explain all of your skills.
Thank you. It's been a while since I've had to deploy these skills. The landscape of war and death has changed in modern years. So it's nice to see, and she just addresses this generally to all of you, that we have some practitioners of the old arts in our midst. Well done, all of you. Stellar performances. I am impressed, to say the least.
I would like a cutaway really quick. You see Noah just like clapping, like he's very excited for themselves, and they're just like, yes. And then he just like finger guns at the camera and just goes, they called me the defensor. Cut back.
That's the end of that challenge. You all should feel very proud of your performance tonight, but I do have 3 bonus points to award. These points go to candidates, challengers who impressed me with how they approached this duel. And I think she's going to sort of like pace, like, and I think like the producers like in the back are like lining you all up and they're like telling you where to like stand for this. And like Elegy sort of paces in front of you all, pauses in front of Leanne. I would like to give 2 points to Leanne for your daring maneuver with that whip, and hands you 2 bites.
Leanne accepts and says, great, glad to see that I'm continuing to impress.
And I would like to give my final bonus point to you, Noah, for really using my own tactics against me. I can see why you were Olympic level. And hands you a bite.
Thank you. And I think like these are little pins you said, right?
Yeah, little fang pins.
I think Noah's just pinning all of them on the jacket they're wearing.
So cute. Love it.
So I add that next to my like D20 pin.
Digging it. Elegy now addresses the group at large. Noah, Salem, Leanne, Rose, thank you so much for humoring me and joining me for this, what I'm sure is going to be a very eventful 3 days of us getting to know each other. But the hour grows late, and you have your things to unpack and your rooms to tend to. So I'll leave you alone for now. Why don't the 4 of you get settled in Heartbreak Manor, and we'll come back for more challenges later. And I think the producers are gonna cut to a commercial break on that as we also take a break. I think from this stream for about 10 minutes. I think we will be back at half past. It is 3:20 here. So we'll be back at 3:30 here, or 4:30 Eastern US time. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, we are collecting donations during this for the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America. So if you do have some spare money in the bank, we'd love it if you could donate to that Tiltify link. Use ! I believe it's charity in chat to get that link. We'll be back in 10. Thanks so much for tuning in, and speech for now. Hello, hello, hello! Everybody, welcome back to the second half of I Want Your Bite! The Bachelor, if The Bachelor was a vampire. We are gonna cut back to Heartbreak Mansion. Several glamour shots of these high, beautiful stained glass windows. The swimming pool rippling in the back, lit up now with LEDs from the depths of the swimming pool because the sun has made its mournful journey across the sky and is now lowered, dipped beneath the horizon, causing the moon to rise up and shine her silvery, melancholy light down upon this sprawling estate with its trimmed hedge maze. We're gonna pan in, push in through one of these stained glass windows, and enter the den. Which is essentially a living room, but we call it the den. Because there is like a stuffed like bear, like a hunting bear, and like various like hunting trophies, I think, like mounted all over. There's also like a big armoire full of liquor that anyone could have at any point, a rug, a fireplace, even though it's summer, and these beautiful like plush sofas and couches and cushions and throw pillows and throw rugs. Every amenity you could think of. There's a foosball table in the corner. There's like a big, like 75-inch like TV with like every console imaginable attached to it. There's even like toward the back like a little miniature like putt like green and like a bowling alley. Like there's a literal freaking bowling alley attached to the den. It's a massive living room, and it's here for Noah, Salem, Leanne, and Rose, my 4 beautiful contestants. After settling into your rooms, you've been invited to mix and mingle in the den, get to know your fellow contestants as Elegy, your hot, butch, non-binary lesbian, vampire bachelor, has disappeared somewhere in the depths of the manor, leaving the 4 of you mortals alone to speak and mingle. What do the 4 of you do?
Hey, they got drinks. Anybody want a cocktail? I'm a little bit of a mixologist myself, just a bit.
I mean, I'll take one, sure.
Show us what you can do.
Rose will accept.
All right. So I'm just going to go make some drinks.
I think while you're... Sorry, 1 second. I think while you're doing that, Rose will be like gushing to like Salem and Leanne like about like, oh my god, you guys were amazing. Where did you learn how to do that? That was great.
Well, I mean, I have, older brothers, and I guess I just kind of learned how to fight from them. I was always kind of a little bit scrappy as a kid, I guess you could say.
Certainly looked scrappy. But what about you? you, Rose. I certainly wasn't expecting you to show your thorns so quickly here.
Well, I've watched a lot of TV. I see how like the stunt doubles do it. I figured, just swing it. You just swing it, and it worked. So here we are.
Just swing it and it worked. God, you're adorable. I absolutely love you.
Rose. I think Rose is like over the like initial like shock of like, oh my god, everyone is pretty, and it's, like there's a little bit of a blush, and he kind of says, why, thank you. Still very shy, but not as overwhelmed.
I think that when you say, like, oh, just swing it, I'm gonna look over to Noah and see if they've heard this comment on how sword fighting works and the ease with which you picked it up. Like,
Yeah, Noah's like shaking like a cocktail thing, just like mixing up some drinks for everybody, and like he's just overhearing this, and they're just. And then I think like he looks directly into one of the cameras and just continues shaking, and the camera pans over to everybody else.
Hey, Noah, are you sure you're supposed to be shaking it that hard? You may need to loosen your grip a little bit.
What do you mean? If it's very icy and I don't want it flying out of my hands and damaging the bear, and then I'll crack it and start pouring out the drinks.
Salem just raises an eyebrow and just looks into a camera before turning back to Rose and goes, I'm sure it's the iciness.
I think there's a cutaway where Rose is kind of like he wasn't expecting this to be like added into the show. He's just kind of like leaning into the producer like, was that a flirt? Did I read that right? Was that a flirt? And we pan back.
And I think Noah gets a cutaway here too, and he's just saying, if that was a sex joke, I didn't get it. Cuts back. And I'm gonna bring the drinks over to everyone. I'm assuming everyone else is like sitting on the couch or something. And I'm gonna bring them over and just give it to everyone. The drinks, mystery cocktail, but I think it's like a bright red color, and there's like a little sprig of like mint in there, and like it looks very nice. The drinks look nice. I hope you enjoy. Hope it's not too strong or anything. I don't know.
Salem goes, fruity, like me.
No, it's just, yeah, same. I take a sip.
Rose is just like silently giggling into his drink as he sips.
oh, Noah, this is so good. Did you start doing bartending after you didn't go to the Olympics?
I think there's a cutaway. Why is my mic getting so loud? Hang on. Okay, there we go. That's a lot better. Everyone was super loud in my head. There's a cutaway, and Noah's explaining why they opted out of the Olympics, and it's just like, well, in 2000 whatever, I was slated to go to the Olympics because I won the national championships, and the Olympics coaches had their eyes on me, but all that pressure, and I was getting over an injury, and I didn't want to damage my body anymore, or risk it even, and I had to, for my mental health and whatnot, to step back, step away, and take care of myself first. And then cuts back, and Noah's just like, bartending, It's an interest of mine, the chemistry of making drinks and whatnot. But I tried learning, taking a class and whatnot on mixology. But I don't know. I just put alcohol in here. It tastes good.
Well, it suits you.
Thank you. I hope you like it. So, where did y'all grow up here too, or what are y'all doing? I guess I don't know. What do y'all do for jobs?
Well, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I grew up here, yeah. You know, down the street, over yonder, the river, across the other side. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't really know me. My family is a little off in the woods, you could say. But grew up here. I don't really have a job right anyway. Hey, Leanne, what do you do? What's your story?
Can I have a quick cutaway? Cutaway. Noah looks into the camera and just says, "That was the vaguest description that I have ever fucking heard. I don't know if Salem lives here or not. I honestly can't tell. Are they shitting me right now? Are they?" And he stands up and walks out. Like, am I being shit? He cuts back.
Uh, I think there's another cutaway, like where Rose is just like, "Is Salem a ghost?" He just cuts back.
Salem has a cutaway. It is just, I'm pretty sure I nailed that.
And the sound plays.
We're good. It's all, we're all good. Everything's good.
Oh, you're a local girl, huh, Salem? I could tell you have that small town vibe.
Mm-hmm. There's a quick cutaway for Salem as she looks into the camera and goes, small town vibe. Ooh, honey. Ooh, honey. You don't know who the fuck you're messing with.
We get a cutaway for Leanne being like, no, of course she doesn't have a small town vibe, but come on, look at her. I have to do something, right? Gotta get under her skin. Yeah, but you asked about me. I'm just a student at the university nearby. But, I mean, that's not as interesting as Rose. Are you a florist in town? What is it that you do?
Yes, my family own the Sweet Bouquet. We're on Main Street. We do um, we do all sorts of bouquets. It's so lovely. Like flowers. Like, don't get me wrong. I know my name is Rose. I know I came in with the rose in the buttonhole. Roses, they hurt so much. Just don't deal with them. They're bad. But yeah, I grew up here my entire life. Um, Never left. This might be my only opportunity to like actually see the world and do stuff away from here.
Oh, so you're using elegy to get out of your small town.
I think there's a cutaway to Rose just like, this is on purpose, isn't it? This is on purpose. It's working, but this is on purpose. And it cuts back to Rose just like sipping his drink and just like, well, sure. And just like continuing to drink. Like he's like halfway through.
Good.
I'm gonna give a quick cutaway to Salem, and she's just staring into the camera like, oh my god. Dios mío, Leanne is here to make enemies, I see. And she doesn't care who it is. Poor Rose! Oh, this girl is getting on my last nerve.
We get a cutaway to Leanne, who is like, I mean, I just care for Elegy, and I want to make sure that everyone else is here for the right reasons.
I found the sound effect, by the way. That? Y'all know what I'm talking about. That one. The instrument is called a vibroslap, by the way.
That sounds like, I feel like I own it, but it's not an instrument.
It looks like this. Oh, it's not gonna show it, is it?
It's because of the green screen.
Yeah, this.
Oh, yeah, the grrrk.
Yeah, this thing.
Okay. Yeah, this entire sequence is just riddled with that noise. As you're all like sipping drinks and Leanne's instigating shit and Salem and Rose are on the other side of Leanne's scorpion sting. Noah, how are you fielding all of this?
I'm sipping my drink and just watching it happen. I think I'm just taking in and just watching how everyone else is interacting. I'm fiddling with my D20 spin ring, and I'm mainly just observing at this moment. But I am looking around to see, just like look at the other stuff in the room, like other stuff to do. Are there board games?
Yeah, totally. There's tons of
Cool.
board games.
There's board games. Yeah, so I'm just kind of like looking at the board games, and then I think like the camera catches me glancing off to the side of these board games, and there's a cut, and it's just Noah saying, "I love board games." And that's it.
At the end of like all of this drama. And I think that's where we end like the evening in like the den of like, ooh, it's so much tension after the first day. We're gonna actually like pan away from like all of you. And I think there's gonna be a quick time lapse as like the final members of the contestants like leave the den and go to sleep and go to bed. But we're gonna pan up to that bear. To the eyes on the bear as we see like a winking camera embedded in the eye hole of the bear, and we're gonna cut to the next day, where the four of you, Noah, Salem, Rose, and Leanne, are lined up in the same like staircase area, right? Which is where they do the main ceremonies and whatnot. And you see like a massive like projection screen has been wheeled in, and like highlights from last night, the conversation are currently being played from a projector, like on the screen. Elegy standing nearby, like arms crossed, face unreadable, looking as like all of you like hear Leanne like say that to Rose, say it to Salem. You also see the cutaways of each other. You see what you all were saying in your confessionals. And like finally it like pans, it like turns to black. And Elegy turns back to the four of you and says, "Everyone have a good night."
Yeah, thank you. The beds here are very nice. Very comfortable.
You're going to be watching us. I'd rather you be down there with us, Elegy.
I was a little busy. And we cut away to like a bunch of producers with a shaky camera, and Elegy's like on one of like the crew members. The producers are like, "No, Elegy, no, that's not a blood bag, no!" And Elegy's like wrestling with us. And then we cut back to Elegy in the foyer being like, "I was eating dinner."
Damn. Is what Noah says.
How's Rose responding to this, and Salem?
Salem looks at Elegy and then just kind of eyes the crew and goes, "Oh, Italian?"
And I think like beyond the camera crew, you see a really out of it like PA who's like Italian, right? And like they're like olive colored, skin is kind of like pale, and they have like a big bandage on the side of their neck, and they keep like they're like shaking a little bit as they're like holding like a clipboard, and they're like back into like the actual action. Elegy goes, "Yes, I have a fondness for breadsticks from Olive Garden." Anyway.
It's Breadsticks.
Now that everyone's business is everyone's business, and we all know where we stand, I think that really sets the tone for day 2's series of challenges. Are you ready to learn what they are? And I think like dun 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 dun, like ramp up music is like playing in the back and panning to all of your faces, like setting into like getting ready for this, getting prepared. And she says, "Good, because the person designing each of the 4 challenges for you today are you." And like the camera's like zoom in on your faces of like shock and like consternation and whatnot. She says, "That's right. I don't have anything planned. It's the 4 of you. Each one of you will design a challenge for the 3 others. Something that will test them. Use your own strengths and use their weaknesses against each other. Do we have any questions? Noah."
Do we participate in the challenges as well?
No. For your challenges, you are immune. So pick something that you know well, or at the very least, that the others are bad at. And I assume after your conversation in the den, you've gotten to, get to know each other a little bit more. You've gotten to cruise underneath each other's skin. And her eye, lingers on Leanne. Or you've just avoided the drama altogether, and her eye, travels over to Noah. Or perhaps you've been on the receiving end of a sting. And then she, glances at Salem and Rose. Now is your chance to right the ways you've been wronged, or to further get ahead of the pack. And now we're gonna do a ding, 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 and I'm gonna have each of you roll 2d6 again to see whose individual challenge is gonna be up first. Just a flat 2d6.
I got an 8.
Same.
An 8. Ooh.
I also got an 8.
Okay.
I got 2 3s.
So that's a 6. 6 for Salem.
6, yeah.
Let's have Leanne, Rose, and Noah reroll, because you all had the same result.
8. Again?
Okay.
I got a 10. This is the best I've ever rolled.
Okay, great. Leanne got a 10. Rose?
I got a 7.
7. Okay, first up is going to be Leanne, then, with Noah on deck. So, Leanne, what is the challenge you have designed for your fellow contestants as our villain?
So, I say, talking to you all last night, I think it would be really great to let you guys spend some time sort of working together and talking too. So, I've designed a challenge. We're going to play D&D, and Elegy and I are going to sort of co-run an enemy, and you 3, it's up to you how you want to take it down. Are you going to go off on your own? Are you going to work together? Rose and Noah, I know that you guys collaborated a little in the first challenge, so let's see.
I'm a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons. Hey, you know the Satanic Panic?
Brienne is visibly holding themselves back from asking a bunch of research interview questions.
Let's just say I was the thing that went bump in the night. Go ahead, Noah.
Oh, I think just Noah looks straight at the camera and just points. Because I think Noah's literally wearing this. Just, I got this.
Nice. So Leanne, do you have a D&D monster in mind? Or are you gonna mash 2 stat blocks together? Each, you and Elegy both choose a monster?
I think that since Elegy said that she loves it, Leanne's going to sort of defer to her and say, we can work on the strategy together, but what were you thinking?
Certainly can. I was thinking we could take 2 different classic Dungeons & Dragons monsters and mash them together. I want to run a Beholder.
Ooh. Shit. What's a good D&D monster?
A Mind Flayer, Dragon... Tiamat! Tiamat! Okay! God? Evil Dragon God? Mommy, hello?
Tiamat, the beholder of all.
She beholds my heart.
What if each of her heads has is a different eye? It's ends in an eye stalk?
Terrifying.
I hate that. I don't think I like that at all. Thanks.
And yet, that is what you're facing.
I think so. All right, so Noah, Salem, and Rose, each of you have to roll up D&D PCs. I think this is a level 21 shot that you have to face Tiamat Holder against. So why don't each of you roll against this challenge, and if you have an applicable skill, you can add it to it.
Can I use team building exercises?
I think so.
Which is
this
my
is
plus
like
3.
You're fighting as a party. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Salem, are you going to be using a skill?
Making connections. I think that can be applied here.
You know what? Why not? Go for it. Rose?
I am going to argue for heartwarming stories because Rose is going to play a bard.
Okay, you can apply it. I love how each of you are using your skills like this. So Noah, what did you get?
Math. I cannot do math. Holy shit.
What are the numbers you're putting together?
5 and a 6 and a 3.
14.
Yes, that number.
Okay, that is you excel and you receive 2 points. Salem, what did you get?
I got an 11.
That is also an excel and you receive 2. Rose?
Wait, hang on. Yes, I just got a 10.
A 10. Okay, that is, you do moderately well, and you receive 1. So I think what this means is, Rose, your bard is kind of shown here, right? Like Noah and Salem's PCs, like, really are the ones dealing a lot of damage, because you're a support class as a bard, so you don't get the spotlight as much. So Noah and Salem, why don't the two of you tell me, like, what class you're playing and, like, how you, like, take down Tiamat Holder?
I think I'm playing I think I like the idea of playing a Dragonborn Paladin or something. Some
nice.
highly
That's
offensive
a lot of damage.
class.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Totally.
high damage
High AC.
output from someone
Yeah.
who has not played in a long time.
Okay. Nice. What about you,
Paladin,
Salem?
yeah, for sure.
Cool.
I'm playing a Kalashtar barbarian. That's what it is.
Okay. That's a lot of
Bear
damage.
totem
So both-
barbarian.
Yep.
That's what I forgot.
Yeah, so the paladin and the barbarian put out a ton of damage, and like Rose, your bard is buffing them, but like again, you fall to the back. And like by the end of this like huge, I think they have like a holographic projection screen, and it's like, you know, like the production value of like Dimension 20 or like Critical Role, right? As like you're all like suddenly like dressed up in cosplay and like sitting around a table, right? Like rolling dice, and like Elegy is like also like co-GMing with Leanne, and like both of us like have like a DM screen up, you know, like we're running it, like we're using Roll20, we're using D&D Beyond, and like we're rolling these dice, right? And it's like it's an incredible one shot of like it lasts like 7 hours, and it goes way into the night, and it's like a story of heartbreak and betrayal and loss and triumph and despair and hope, and finally like you know the sword cleaves through the final head of like Tiamat Holder, and it ends and like the holographic projection, sort of like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like dissipates through the air, it settles down, and like sitting around this like gaming table in the den, I think Elegy goes, "Wow, I think that was the most fun I've ever had in my unlife."
Unlife.
Well, we'll have to work on that.
Fantastic challenge design, Leanne. I am blown away. I, once more, have 3 bonus points to award. I would like to give Leanne 2 of them for being my co-GM, and one of the people who has stepped up to design this challenge, and I would like to give the remaining point to you, Rose. The bard, the support class, is often the unsung hero, I think, in a lot of tabletop role-playing games. So thank you for doing that.
What can I say? I love helping out.
After all, you can't have a show without support.
That's true. That's very, very true. And now the next person to do their challenge is going to be Noah. So Noah, why don't you tell us what the challenge you've designed is?
Oh boy. So my thought was to make everybody play a game. And I'm torn between making people play chess against Elegy or making people play Monopoly two games which are very, and I think Monopoly is the go, because if this is the group challenge, I'm gonna make everybody play Monopoly, and I'll be the banker. The person.
Okay, you're not playing. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not playing.
Love
I'm
it.
the banker.
Okay, we're sitting down in the den. The first thing Elegy says, I want to be the thimble. Does anyone try to take the thimble from Elegy?
No.
I think.
I mean, I want to be the dog.
Good choice.
It's a little puppy. It's cute.
There's a car, right? I want to be the car.
There is a car.
There's a car.
The automobile.
Is there a cat in this edition, or is that only for
Yeah,
special?
I think there is a cat, right? In the versions of Monopoly I've played, there's usually been a cat, I think. Question
I
mark?
don't think so. There's a shoe. There's an iron.
There's a top
There's the
hat.
money bag, top hat.
Rose will take the top hat.
I'm-
Okay.
And
Great.
I think like when Elegy goes for the thimble, I think Noah's just gonna say, that's a good piece. That's the one I usually choose. Good choice.
Thank you. I like how, I don't know, there's something very aesthetically pleasing about its shape. I like things that are pretty.
I just
and
like
Elegy's-
it, and I think Noah's gonna try and just like take it from you. I just
Okay.
like it because it fits on my pinky. And he shows the camera and gives it back.
How quaint and charming. And Elegy places it on the start, and I need the three of y'all, except for Noah, to roll for this challenge and tell me if you're using any skills.
I love Monopoly. I love and hate Monopoly.
It's a nightmare game.
Capitalism, the
It
game.
takes forever and it ruins families.
So I rolled a 4.
Okay.
Can I sell you on theft? As in, I'm just doing a little bit of cheating there with
Yes.
the monies and the rolls.
Yes,
yeah.
you can. Yes, you absolutely can sell me on theft.
So that bumps it up to a 7,
Oh,
which I don't know if
Okay.
that's still a failure.
No, that's moderately well, 1 point.
Okay.
Yes, Noah.
Oh, I think during the game, like Leanne is like sneaking money out of my box or whatever, and I think there's a cutaway at some point where Noah's like, I think I'm missing some money, but I can't tell. I'm not good at math. Why am I the banker? Cuts back.
Maybe that's part of the theft thing. Like you're very easy to bamboozle.
No,
and,
You,
like,
you
Leanne's
can
taking
just
advantage of you.
distract me. Like it's so easy to sleight of hand me. Like I'm kind of not really paying attention.
Love it. Salem, what did you get?
I got a 7. Salem has never played Monopoly before.
Fair. Yeah, you're rough and tumble. This is board game shit, right? So you get a 1. So does Leanne. Both of you get 1 point. Rose.
So, I don't think any of my skills apply here. And also, I have a -1 when in direct competition, and I think Monopoly counts.
Yes, I think it does.
So I'm gonna roll with a -1.
Okay.
Board game, more like board game. Am I right?
Hey!
That's a 4. I get 0 points.
Yikes, you fail the challenge and receive 0 points. So Rose, I think you're in jail for like most of the game.
I think
You
I
keep
don't-
landing.
No, it happens so often. The editors edit like the jail bars over your confessionals.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I think Rose, like there's a cutaway, and Rose kind of just like holds up some of their cards, and there's like some get out of jail free cards, and he's just like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of Monopoly. Please don't make me play Monopoly. And then it cuts back.
I love it. Yeah. So Salem and Leanne, I mean, is there really triumphing in Monopoly? You're playing Monopoly. So both of you get 1 point. Rose gets no points. And I think as it ends, I think Elegy wins, right? Like, it's like, has developed sick Monopoly strats over the course of her many centuries of living. So I think by the end of the challenge, Elegy goes, ha! And that's it. I've bought up all of Boardwalk. Nice. Good game. And she like holds out like her hand to like shake each of the competitors' hands. Like Salem and Leanne.
I think this challenge should end with somebody flipping the table. That's how it always ends.
Who flips the table? Because if there's no clear answer, I think it's Elegy. She goes, yes! And she flips it. She goes, that's it! I am Monopoly. Nice. She like settles back down. And I think this is when it's time to give out the bonus points. So she turns to your table and says, as always, the facilitator, Noah, you get 2 points for running this challenge and for coming up with it. You didn't do a great job tracking the money, but it's fake, so who cares?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Don't worry about it, Noah. You sweet summer child. The 1 point I'm going to reward one of these competitors. Is going to be Salem. I think you took a brand new game in stride. Even though it was clear you'd never played Monopoly before, you still put up a good fight. And I can respect that. Yes, Noah.
I want to retcon and just say that Noah spent a great deal of time explaining the rules of Monopoly to everybody.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. I asked so many questions.
I think just like the Dungeons and Dragons session, this took like 7 hours to like play from start to finish.
And I think every time you're asking questions about like, why does this happen? And Noah's just like, I don't know, it's them rules, you know. And just every time they shrug and look into the camera. And just
definitely.
At one point,
Elegy...
Salem...
Please go ahead.
At one point, Salem just goes, "Oh, so this is what? Just like a metaphor for reality and the meaningless of price values based off of property set by a government that doesn't care about people? Cool. Why are we playing this?"
Oh, I thought this was a game where you got to learn how to be evil, how to become an evil person. Landlords, right? They're the worst. They're the worst kind of vampire. Money vampire.
I thought that was lawyers.
That too, but at least they don't farm passive income from your hard-earned rent money. Anyway, actually, I think like how Elegy wins is like every time she lands on someone else's property and like she's supposed to pay you, she like looks at you. And, like, you see her fangs come out, like, just a little bit, like, off of her lip. She's like, do I have to pay you here, Leanne?
We get a cutaway every time that happens of Leanne saying, I want to win, but...
Yeah, so Elegy intimidates all of you. That's the end of Noah's Monopoly challenge. We're now going to move on to Rose.
So Rose leads you all into there's probably like some sort of kitchen in this mansion, and there are workstations with like a cloth like covering what's clearly ingredients, and he says, I would like you to bake something using the ingredients under this cloth, and you all have the same ingredients. However, Elegy, if you would, I'd like you to add something mean to everyone's pile of ingredients.
Should it be the same thing or a different thing?
Oh, a different thing.
Okay, then. And Elegy is gonna step forward in front of Noah. Says, Noah, you're such a sweet person that it pains me to give you this, but I ate this while I was in the forests, somewhere, and she like lists like a country that I don't think exists now anymore, and pulls out a scorpion inside a vial and like places it down.
Is it alive?
If that's anyone's line or veil, it's not alive, let's say, just for safe reasons. It's not skittering around, but it's dead, but it's a scorpion. I want you to use every part of the scorpion. And then she's gonna move on to Salem. Salem, I was extremely impressed by your wielding of the twin daggers. It made me think of, and she pulls out a vial full of bright green liquid, a striking viper. This is King Cobra venom. And she places it down. I want you to incorporate that into your ingredients list. Yes, Noah.
And Noah's raising their hand, and Noah says, is that safe to consume, or is that like a you thing? Like, can you have that?
I assume these baked treats are for my consumption, Rose?
Yes, they are.
Then yes, don't worry. None of these ingredients I'm giving you are harmful to me in any way, shape, or form. It'll take more than a bite from a little snake to take me out. Here. And then she finally stops in front of Leanne, says, Leanne, it was very hard for me to come up with an ingredient to befuddle you. But I think if anyone can make this work, you can. Though I'm looking forward to how. And she pulls out just like a piece of steel. It's just a straight up piece of rebar that she like places on the table in front of you. There's a working furnace in the back of this kitchen. We're sponsored by the Steel Series Master Chef, Forge and Home Depot. So here you go.
Iron Chef? More like Steel Chef.
Elegy steps back from all of your tables, turns to you, Rose, and says, you have the honors.
There's a cutaway where Rose is just like, gonna be honest, I was expecting fruit, but this is very on brand. And then it cuts back, and Rose gestures for you to uncover your ingredients, and they're just like standard cookie ingredients. There's like flour, there's sugar, like there's even chocolate chips if you want to use them. Go ham.
Okay. One of the three of you roll to go ham on your baking and add any skills if they're applicable.
What is showboating? That's one of my...
It means you're like showing off and like flexing a bit.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. I don't know if any of my skills apply.
Okay, just give me a flat 2d6 then. Salem.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I rolled a 6 and a 4 out of 10.
Nice. Okay, that you do pretty well. You receive 1 point with your snake venom brew.
You see, so then just a quick cutaway, and she's in front of the camera holding up the vial of snake venom and goes, my abuelita back in the home country, Puerto Rico, she would used to pin snakes to trees and strip them of their lard. So this is on brand-ish.
Nice. What kind of a baked good did you make, Salem?
I 100% made some kind of like curd tart using like blueberry and lemon, and then I mixed in the snake venom with the the lemon curd to kind of make like using it like as a lemon lime thing and just going, this should work.
Totally. I think like Elegy steps up to taste and she picks up your like little tart and she like takes a bite. This is good. I love the consistency. It's flaky in just the right way, and the gooey center is really what sells this tart to me. If I had just one complaint to make, though, it's that the snake venom is very sour. So when you add that to lemon, it's a little overpowering. Overall, good job, though. And she like places it back down in front of you. And now let's go to Noah. Noah, what did you roll?
Not good. I got a 3. A good old 3.
Okay, so what kind of pastry were you trying to make?
Okay, so I think this is what happens here. So I think I tend to the scorpion first. And I think like there's a cutaway where Noah's explaining what he's gonna make, and I want to do like a mini cake, basically, like a mini 2-tiered cake. And I'm talking about how I'm going to use the scorpion, and I want to like melt down some sugar and basically make like a little standing thing where the scorpion's like in the sugar, like you trap it in the sugar. Do you know what I'm talking about? And then stick it on the top and have it as a decorative element. So like that was my plan for the scorpion, and so like I spend a lot of time doing that. And I think like I'm able to get that down. Like that's like the prettiest thing that I have got going on for me. And then it comes to baking. And then there's like a record scratch and another cutaway. And Noah's like, I'm not a baker. I I don't know why I said I'm making a cake. I've never made a cake before, so this will be interesting. And then there's like a sped up thing of like me basically just guessing on how to make a cake. And there's another cutaway. I've watched Great British Bake Off, but I don't got the skills here. And so I think I end up presenting what looks to be a functional cake, but it probably doesn't taste good.
Yeah, what's interesting though is Elegy steps up, like observes the scorpion, nods tentatively, and then cuts a slice of this gooey kind of drooping cake off onto a plate and eats it and says, "You know what, Noah? For your first time baking, this actually isn't bad. In fact, I would say the part about this I'm most disappointed in is the scorpion. It's beautiful in this sugar, but I wanted it to be incorporated into the dish. And because of that reason, I'm so sorry, but I can't give you any bites." And she like hands the cake back to you and strolls off to examine Leanne's. She wanted the scorpion to be like inside the cake somehow. It's like when you like don't work with like the ingredient and like chopped, like the special ingredient. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Yep. And now Leanne, what did you get?
So I rolled a 9, and I think that Leanne spent most of her baking time forging this piece of steel into like a primitive like little like cast iron thing, and then the last 5 minutes made like a quick like skillet cornbread type thing.
I love it. You present it to Elegy, who picks up the cast iron, looks at you and says, "How rustic," and then takes a bite of like the pan and the cornbread in it. Just like a big bite and like chomps it. You hear it crunching. Leanne, I'm very impressed by the mixture of textures here. The crunch from the rebar and the softness of the cornbread really ties this dish together for me. Reminds me of the old country. And she like puts it back down and nods and gives you a bite, like a single bite, right? For your efforts.
We get a cutaway and Leanne is like, oh.
Yes, Rose.
I think there's a cutaway of like, so the camera pans on Rose looking at Leanne's reaction, and then there's a cutaway and just like, Leanne's gonna kill me. Leanne's gonna kill me. And then it cuts back.
I love it. And I think all of you are lined up now for the final like bonus points to be awarded. As usual, Rose, 2 bonus points to you for implementing this challenge and being such a gracious host, even though I was a little dastardly with my extra ingredients. And 1 point will be given to Noah. It was your first time attempting to bake, and the cake was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I was just disappointed by the lack of scorpionization in the cake. Next time, though, you'll get them next time.
Yes, chef.
And now we're going to move on to Salem's challenge. So Salem, what do you have for us?
You see, there's a quick cut as Salem leaves the rest of you behind and re-enters in kind of like these high-waisted pants and this crop top that like kind of suctions to her very, very large titties.
Big booba.
Oh my
Big booba.
Finally,
goth
booba.
GF.
And she has like a shirt tied around her waist, and she's still in heels, mind you, just a different pair of heels. And she claps her hands together and goes, "All right, so the challenge I have for you guys is a freestyle dance roulette."
Cut away to Noah just... Oh, shit. Back to everyone.
Now, the whole idea of this is that I give you a prompt using this machine, and she holds up like this little iPad that just has a bunch of words put into it that you have to create a dance to. Now, the whole idea is that you have to get a prompt, and then, based off of the experience of Bamba, have a conversation with the music, telling this story. Have fun.
Amazing. Oh my god, I love it. So does Elegy have a role in this, or is she just watching?
I mean, Elegy can join in if she wants to.
I think Elegy is like sat there on like her throne and is just like having a great time watching all of you like sipping from a chalice of literal blood. You know, as like all of you like, I think there's been like a dance floor has been like spread out, or like of sprung marley like over the marble floor, and like all of you like speakers have been wheeled in, and poof, poof, music starts to thrum, and like the first roulette starts to roll to form like a phrase. So why don't Noah, Leanne, and Rose all roll 2d6 and add any applicable skills that you might have?
Can this be my flexing and showboating one?
Yes, I think it can. I think it absolutely can.
And those are +2, right? Yes.
Yes.
That's a 10.
Ooh, okay, that is good. That's 1 point. So Noah, what is the sentence, the random sentence that is formed for you?
Oh man, I thought you were gonna feed that to me.
Do you want me to? Because I kind of have an idea for how to do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
feed me a sentence. Oh boy. GM has left the building.
Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, and I'm gonna pick 3 words at random. The first word is playmates.
Okay.
The second word is force. And your final word is Dark Lord.
Okay, so I think this is how this goes down. What kind of music is it, Salem?
Honestly, even the music itself is a little bit of a roulette as well.
So let's say it's country music. It's country music for this one. So go for it.
Oh lord. Okay, so I think what happens is there's country music playing, and I think it's instrumental, and I think Noah is gonna attempt to sing over it, and I like Noah can sing. We're gonna put it at that. Noah can sing. I think they've got a very nice baritone voice. The voice is nothing special, but they can hold a tune. And I think they're just improvising lyrics to fit what the words are as they're like doing like the most awkward fucking dance. Like Noah's not a dancer, but I think he pulls out some of those, like, you know, when you like drop to the ground and like stick a leg out like this.
Oh, Slav squatting? Oh my god, I'm into it.
Like some of that stuff, and I think he does a backflip at one point, like that kind of, like, I think he's using athletic moves to try and dance while singing a bit poorly, and maybe the improv is good enough to warrant a point.
I love it. I think like the country music plays out, and like clapping from like the producers, maybe the other competitors as well. Elegy's laughing. Well done, Noah. Well done. I will give you 1 point for that. 1 point for your showboating, your athleticism, the backflip, all very inspired, and you had a very dismal soundtrack to work with. Unfortunately, I will not give you 2 points because I wanted to see more Dark Lording in that. Less of an incorporation of the theme.
Understandable.
Okay. Leanne, you're up. So, Leanne, what did you roll?
Okay, so I rolled a 6. However, I have a move that once per day I can steal someone else's win. So what did you roll, Rose?
You can have my 10.
Oh my god.
Brutal.
How do you steal Rose's? Should we pan to Rose first?
Yeah,
Maybe it's not
I think
Leanne who
so,
goes.
yeah.
So Rose, you got a 10, so I will give you your prompt, which is children. Opposite. Cities. Children opposite cities.
So,
2 children.
so the skill I specifically rolled for this is heartwarming stories. So, like through interpretive dance, like I tell the story of like 2 children who cannot meet because they're in like different cities who are like at war, and their like budding friendship, which turns into a really beautiful friendship that like surpasses all the odds. Something like that.
I love it. And you're doing this to reggae, I think. You're doing this to reggae. And it's great, actually. In the middle of dancing, like Elegy looks like really taken, is like nodding, you know, along. Leanne, how do you steal Rose's thunder?
I think that Leanne sort of jumps in at one point and takes over the role of one of the other children and switches it from being like this heartwarming, like beautiful story of like burgeoning friendship, and just goes like really sort of dark and sad with their movements and their reactions, and tries to just sort of overshadow what Rose is doing.
Let's get a cutaway to Rose first.
I think that like Rose, like in the moment, Rose forgets this is a competition and is like super into this. Like he's just like, yes, let's create some art. And then in the cutaway, he's just kind of like staring off to the distance, and it's like, this is what I get for that baking challenge. This is karma.
Nice. Noah?
I think when Leanne starts trying to like show Rose up, Noah just cuts away, and Noah's just like, I didn't know that could be a group challenge, but I guess we're here now.
Nice.
Back.
Very nice. So what does that mean, Leanne? Does that mean Rose gets an automatic 0? Or does Rose get to reroll?
Yes. The vampire sees the candidate's results as your own, and you swap scores. So
you swap scores. So Rose gets a 6. Okay,
wait,
go ahead, Rose.
Don't you have to roll theft first?
Oh, yes. Here.
Ooh, okay.
That is it's a 12. So,
Okay,
yeah,
so
I
it
took
works.
theft as
Okay.
my +3, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that works. So Rose, you're really overshadowed by Leanne. I think Elegy forgets there's a third competitor. Just like forgets to allot you points, Rose, because like she was so taken by Leanne's like dance. And you don't strike me as like the kind of character who would like speak up for yourself necessarily in a room full of producers. Okay, Elegy laughs as that was fantastic. Wow, what an inspired dance, Leanne. 1 point for that. That was incredible. Salem, I suppose that concludes the end of your dance challenge.
Unless, of course, you'd like to join me and show everybody else what they're missing.
You know what? Why not? Salem, why don't you tell me what the music is, and I'll pick the words.
It's a tango.
Ooh.
Tango. Expertise. Military. Spirits. So I'm
This is
gonna
just a
interpret that as, like,
repeat of
magical.
our fight. This is a repeat of our
Yeah.
fight, only more gay.
And sexier. Go for it.
Oh, much sexier. Come on, baby. It's a 6 and a 5.
That's okay. You don't even need to like compete, but you just blow everyone out of the water. You and Elegy are tangoing like across the sprung Marley. Like the music's going, and it's a tale of like she dips you real low and is like holding you, cupping you by like like the nape of your neck and like the crook of your back, and like pulls you back up, spins you. She's the lead, I think, here. But you also have a chance to like switch roles, and she becomes the follow if you want, right? You get to lead her like across the floor, and it's like you've been dancing together for years, right? Like you know each other intimately already. It feels so natural and organic, and like the music finally stops, right? And like Leanne, Noah, and Rose, you're watching this person who was not supposed to compete sweep in here and steal all of your thunders. How are you responding to this?
Seething, absolutely seething.
Noah?
I think there's a cutaway, and Noah's just like, I am very attracted to everybody. Fuck.
Love it.
And then just an
Every
added,
day.
I wish I could dance.
Oh, Noah.
Noah. I would like to put this out there. There was a moment in the dance together where Salem was able to hook her leg around Elegy's waist and then lift her other leg up.
Wow. Oh my god.
I think that's where my
supported.
cutaway is. Just like,
Very confusing mix of feelings. What about Rose?
Rose is just like watching like all of this, and I think like just before the music finishes, there's like it pans to Rose's face, and there's a cutaway, and he's just like he just like stares directly into the camera, and it's just like, I've accepted my loss. It's fine.
Oh, Rose. Yeah, and then we're gonna pan away, and it's the final challenge, right, of all your various solo challenges, and like elegies clapping for all of you. Good job. Noah, Salem, Leanne, Rose, all 4 of you should feel very proud of your performance tonight. I have to say, I was really, really happy to see all these hidden sides of your characters. Thank you for allowing me to witness. And thank you, Salem, for being such a gracious dance partner. In terms of bonus points, Salem, of course, you get 2, as usual, as always. My one final bonus point for the night, for this evening, for all of day 2, will go to Leanne. You came in there, you changed that story of hope and belonging to one of sadness and disbelief and grief, and that was a marked emotional switch that I was very entranced by, so 1 extra bonus point to you, Leanne. And yeah, how do you respond?
Like, yeah, so happy that I had a chance to show a bit more of my range. And hey, you've gotten the fighting and the dancing down. There's only one thing left, I think.
Well, that's for us to find out together tomorrow during the ceremony. But for now, why don't the 4 of you get some rest? You deserve it. And I think the 4 of you contestants are allowed to like go back up, go into the den and probably bitch at each other for a bit. But what this means is let's out of character see where we are in the rankings. I want to know what everyone's points are as we go into the final ceremony.
I got 9.
Starting 9 from Noah. Okay.
I have 8.
Rose has 8. Okay.
I have
Salem?
11. Oh, sorry.
Whoa. Leanne has 11. Salem?
I have 10, I believe. Wait,
This
no,
is pretty close. Oh.
no, because I forgot to factor in that last challenge. I think I'm at 12.
Wow.
Ooh.
This is pretty close. Y'all are all within like the lowest is Rose with 8, which is within 4 points of Salem, right? And this is the final ceremony, so anything goes, right? This is pretty close, so anyone could pull ahead and win, I think, in this moment. But Leanne and Salem are neck and neck, and like Noah and Rose are just like nipping at your heels. It's a close one. It's a little too close to call at this point, I think. So moving in, the final day dawns over Heartbreak Manor. Light, early morning. Actually, I think the ceremony takes place at midnight. That would make sense.
Yeah.
I think. More
Midnight.
so.
vibes.
The sky. The sky is swept obsidian, with little pinpricks of starlight poking through, like a giant has perforated holes in the ceiling of the atmosphere, right? Starlight glimmering down, shining down in these beautiful slats of silvery light upon Heartbreak Manor. And I think the final ceremony takes place exactly where you met, in the throne room, with the set of stairs leading up to that throne made of bone upon which Elegy sits. And the 4 of you stand in front of her. Maybe a little sleepy, but nerves are getting you. You're jittery, your heart's pumping fast, and you're almost certain Elegy can taste the anxiety of your blood in the air as she's sort of slung against this throne of gold-plated femurs and humeri and ulna. And she says to the 4 of you, your final challenge is largely up to you. Each of you get to take me on a date of your own design and impress me. We're gonna start in the order of the rankings, which means Salem, you go first. So Salem, what is the date you take Elegy on, and what's the skill you're trying to highlight in this date? This is sort of like the final ceremony rules here.
Immediate gay panic. Oh gosh. I think I think Salem would take Elegy out on like an art date to a museum. Just gay people being gay people in the museum.
Okay.
And it's like
cut
a little
to the museum.
It's a fashion exhibit.
Okay, like fashion through the ages, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, there's a special exhibit. Okay, yeah. You're walking with Elegy. You know, Elegy is wearing like a high-necked, like turtleneck, like with like sleeveless though, showing off those jacked arms, right? She's like her, yeah, like she's got these broad shoulders, like tapered down to like a V to her waist, and she's wearing these like almost like harem pants that are sort of like high waisted up to her belly, and sort of like loose and fan out, and sort of cinch at the ankles with these like big black boots, right? And she's got, I think she's wearing like these like bone earrings, right? Studded earrings pierced across her ears. She's walking with you, has gelled her hair up and like worn this nice like cologne as you're walking through this exhibit. So tell me, Salem, how do you strike up conversation with her? How are you trying to impress her?
Ooh, how am I gonna... You know, I'm going to roll command conversation.
Nice! Okay, how does that work?
I'm gonna do it. I get a +2, because this isn't a group activity.
Ooh!
Oh, wait, no, it says once per day it can catch the vampire's eye during the challenge and roll command conversation. I get a point no matter what. This is good shit. And it is good shit. That is, I love these dice. They're very good to me. That is 2 5s.
That's before the bonuses?
That's before the bonuses.
Okay.
So it's
Wow.
12.
That is 2 points. You have you stun Elegy with your eloquent conversation. So why don't we just get like a snippet of like the cameras following you through this like museum, this exhibit of like what your conversation is like?
You see, Salem pauses before a certain dress and then immediately starts talking about, you know, this is actually hand embroidered, and what they used to do is that they took the beetle wings and they would sew them into the actual fabric in and of himself to give it an iridescent sheen. This dress specifically actually was first seen in the Shakespearean stage play of Macbeth. It was worn by Lady Macbeth, and her shoes and crown all featured the lace wing as well.
You're absolutely right. I actually think I remember it. The original production at the Globe, no?
It was at the Globe, yes. I've always been into fashion. I've just never had the time to really get into sewing my own clothes.
Well, fashion is very labor intensive, and it requires a good deal of wealth if you want to pursue it. That's not just a hobby in these modern times. Is that important to you, to have financial freedom?
I suppose you could say that. I just want to create, you know? There's so much in this world, but then, you know, I'm only mortal. I was going to say we're only mortal. You're a vampire. So there's only so much time. There's only so much time you have. And I guess on some way I want to leave my mark like this designer did. And she kind of like reaches out to touch it, pauses, and then just kind of trills and just slinks away.
So that's what immortality means to you. The ability to leave a mark on this world.
In a way. Although I imagine immortality gets very lonely as well. I'd never wish loneliness on somebody. And she kind of like cups Elegy's cheek.
Oh my god.
Brushes her cheekbone a little bit. Yes.
You know, you remind me of someone. Someone I loved a long time ago, someone who's not here anymore. My greatest regret, I think, was not giving the gift of immortal life to someone who deserved it. And now, she's gone, and I'm never getting her back.
I hold Elegy's hand and I go, I know I'm not her, but perhaps you can find someone who means as much to you as she did. and then I'm going to turn our hands and just kiss Elegy's hand before letting go. But as we walk together, every so often my hand would brush against hers, as if like saying, "If you want to hold me, you can."
Yeah, Elegy holds your hand through the entire museum exhibit. You get 2 points. Wow. Amazing. And I think she sort of like ends your conversation with, you know, all this talk about fashion and art is making me think of a friend I had a long time ago. He said that when he was sculpting, it was never about making something out of marble. It was about bringing the figure out that was already embedded into it. You remind me of him.
Michelangelo.
Oh, I suppose, yes. That's how you would know him. And Elegy, like, continues to walk with you. He went by many names, but that was one of them, yes. Salem, if you're speaking, you're muted, and I want to know what you're saying.
No,
you're saying something.
No, this is me. Are you implying Michelangelo was a vampire? Hold on.
Wait, no. No, just reference Michelangelo as a friend. You're not sure if this means that he was a vampire. So now, that was a beautiful date. 2 points for you. Salem's up to 14, but this is before any bonus final points at the end. We're not going to go to Leanne. Our runner-up. What's the date you're taking Elegy on?
Unfortunately, I think Leanne is falling prey to the villain's fatal flaw, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Elegy on just a beautiful moonlit picnic somewhere.
Okay.
But the skill I'm going to be highlighting is gossip, and I'm going to spend a lot of the time trying to poison
like
them
shit talking?
a little bit
Okay.
against the rest of the contestants.
Okay, roll it.
And appropriately, that is only a 7.
Was that a mixed success? What happens on a 7?
I think that it's a mixed. I don't have the numbers.
The villain, once per day, when you roll... yes. I think that's just straight up like 1 point. Like the overall challenge roll, right? Plus gossip. Okay, cool. It's not like a special move. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a moderate success. That's a 1. So why don't you like tell me like a little bit of the shit that you talk about each character, like as you're sitting on this moonlit picnic blanket.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a lot of like, yeah, Rose seems so sweet, but it really seems like, he's just trying to use you to get out of this small town. And
really,
I mean, Noah seems just so directionless. Like, I don't know what he would even do with immortality.
I suppose you're right.
Salem, I mean, something's up with her. Like, I don't think you can trust her.
Really?
What
makes you say that about Salem? She strikes me as genuine.
Does she really? There's something there. She just, deflects all these questions, all the personal questions about herself, and it really seems like she's after someone else, but I don't want to spend this whole time talking about other people. I'm sorry, I don't know how we got on this subject.
It's okay. Yes, let's not spend our date. Wow, that's already been 80% of our date. I want to learn more about you, Leanne. Tell me who you are. What would being immortal mean to you?
I mean, so much. It's really just, I want more time to, study and learn and involve myself in the world and be able to make a change, and also just to get to know people, like, I would imagine that so much of the gift of immortality for you has been being able to make so many connections across time and space, and I'd love to talk to you more about those and also to make those connections for myself.
Of course, I understand. Well, the thrill of immortality at first is incredible. I would say the first 200 years are pretty good. Just go around the world, learning things, absorbing art, eating incredible food, meeting these people, seeing these sights no mortal has ever set their sights on. But then you get lonely. But then the people you meet start to die.
I can only imagine, but having someone else by your side in that time, I think that it could really help ease that pain. And I would love
Yes.
to be there for you and have you be that for me as well.
I think that would be lovely. Thank you for this conversation, Leanne. And like feeds you like maybe like an hors d'oeuvre like that you've set out on the picnic, like feeds it to you very, very gently under the light of the moon. Okay. So that's 1 point for Leanne, mostly because he spent most of the time shit talking. So I think what that means is LG didn't get to really know you, but still an admirable performance. So you are now up to 12, and now we're gonna go to Noah. Noah, what is the date you have planned?
Oh boy. Okay, so there is this place I've never been, but my sister was telling me about it. It's called Bodeborg. It's basically like this, it's kind of like an escape room, but it's not an escape room. It's a like, what's the word? It's an immersive gaming experience that you can take. There's a location in Boston, that's why I know about it, and that's why my sister went. But basically, you can complete all these different quests, and usually you work in a team or whatever, and I guess it's a thing you can go on a date with. But like, this is only like a 1 to 2 hour thing, so like that's like the first thing we do. But then I think I just want to set up like a really nice dinner date, because I think Noah just really wants to talk to you. And I think they figure that just sitting down face to face, eating a really nice meal and talking is like the best way, both for me to get to know Elegy and also for Elegy to get to know me as a person.
Okay, and this is before the like escape room thing?
No, I think we do the escape room first. Like,
okay.
That's kind of
okay,
like the
cool.
icebreaker kind of thing.
Nice.
Because it requires teamwork, it requires like all these other like values, and I want to see if we can work together as a team, and also under pressure, and just to have fun and laugh and problem solve and like all these other things. Because like in Noah's brain, like if you're gonna live with someone forever, like you gotta mesh well. And also Noah, like this is a very new thing, at least I have never heard of this before, so I think it's fairly new technology as well. And so I think Noah's other thought is, you know, Elegy's lived throughout so many centuries. This is a brand new thing that maybe Elegy has not been able to experience yet. So
fun.
Something I want to take you on. Yeah.
Show a new experience. I love it. So why don't you roll 2d6 plus team building to see how well the Boda room goes.
Okay. And then for the dinner, so my special ability is local celebrity. So I can ask a local for help with a challenge, granting a +1. And I think for that, I want to call into like the nicest restaurant here and call in a favor, and I want us to get like a private room. Like I think that's
really nice.
I
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a +1. Yeah, so add a +1 on top of
So is this roll for the games and the dinner, I assume then, right?
Yes, this is just your overall challenge roll.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is a oh, and I get to add team building too, right? You said?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
you do.
So that is 3 + 1, 4 plus 15.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, this is fantastic. That is 2 points off the bat. That's bumps you up to 11. Just off the bat before any bonuses at the end of this round. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. She has a great time doing this like escape room. Like she's like marveling over every little like clue. She's like, oh, fantastic. Yeah, like she's like really enjoying it, you know, and she's very impressed by like the restaurant as well. Go ahead, Noah.
Oh, for the game thing, there's a lot of like historical themed like quests you can go on, and I think Noah is just very interested to hear from Elegy about their personal experiences living through all these different time periods, because I think like if it hasn't been clear already, I think Noah is just a very inquisitive, curious person who wants to learn about many things. And you know, Elegy's been around far longer than, you know, any of us. Primary source of information to learn more about the world and what have you. So I think that's like part of the conversation, like besides all the team building and the problem solving, like we talk about I also think Elegy would shit on the historically inaccurate bits of
Yeah,
the games. Like, and we
totally,
have
totally.
fun laughing about that as well.
For sure. Oh, I love it. It's just like bonding. You know, she's talking about stuff. She's, you know, like, Vesuvius actually wasn't all that bad. I was actually in Pompeii in 79 AD. And it was actually really nice because all the smoke and the ash blotted out the sun. So I could take a walk.
I can see how nice that would be for you.
It was
Did
good.
you hear? Did you hear about the like bread and the cheese that's preserved after all those years? Like they found like between a bunch of different historical sites, there's like bread from Pompeii, there's cheese from Egypt, and
oh, wow.
somebody was like, "You should make a sandwich."
I would not eat that sandwich.
I would not either.
And I think the two of you like share a laugh over it, right? And then like we cut to like the really nice restaurant. Like you sit down in a private booth. Like there's like a server that's just attending to you just for that night. And she's really impressed. Oh, this is a nice place. I didn't know Sweetwater had such hidden gems. Sitting down and talking, right? And like you're talking about all sorts of things, but finally the conversation funnels down to one question she asks you that she has asked Salem and has asked Leanne. Noah, tell me, what would immortality mean to you?
I think one of the first things I've always been looking for in life is genuine connections to people, genuine experiences, and I want to, pardon me tearing up here, but I want to see the world. It's a big place and I'm just one person, and I think getting to live together, getting to live forever, I'd be able to see all the things I want to see before I'm out of here, and I'd get to spend it with someone as lovely as you. I would be honored. But I think there's definitely things that would be really difficult. I can't imagine how hard it must have been for you outliving everybody you've ever known, and I can only imagine how difficult that is. So if you see something in me, I would be honored to be by your side for the rest of forever.
Immortality, Noah, is both a gift and a curse. It is not. My bite is not something I bestow lightly. When I was still a young vampire, I made the mistake of turning my lover at the time. And for several decades, we traveled all of Europe, parts of Asia together. But I saw them turn from someone so innocent. And she actually holds out a hand and like strokes the side of your cheek. Into someone scorned and power hungry. And in the end, it was I who drove the stake through their heart.
Wow.
Are you prepared for something like that to happen to you, Noah?
Prepared for you to kill me, or?
Are you like sweating a little? Are you like kind of nervous?
Yeah,
right now?
I think like I got really nervous.
No, not necessarily. More so prepared of how it will change you fundamentally as a person.
If I'm gonna be completely 100% honest, I do not know how it will change me. I'm kind of a person that has a really hard time seeing things in the long run. I live now. My experiences and everything that I'm living through right now, that is what I prioritize, because I do have a hard time looking to the future. And what I mean by that is I, at this moment in time, would love the honor of this experience with you, and I take every day, one day at a time, to keep moving forward. And, you know, I think we will change as people as time moves on, but All I know, and I hope you can see this in me, I always just want to help people. I want to bring people together, bring communities together. That's what I do with my game store and everything else. You know, I've always loved that.
I think that's beautiful.
I think you're beautiful.
And I think that's like where the date ends, right? Like that's where we like
Yeah.
cut away from like that date. Wow. Yeah, you blew that out of the water. And now we're gonna go, last but not least, our final solo date, Rose.
I think Rose will take you on sort of a tour of Sweetwater, but like almost like a nature tour. Like this is like a small town, so it's surrounded by countryside, and I think he's got like this route planned out to allow you to see as much of the natural beauty as possible, and like all the like night creatures that like scurry around in the dark. And yeah, I'm going to roll
Plus furry friend?
Yes.
Nice.
Ooh, that is a 12.
That is a full hit. You get 2 points. You get bumped up to 10. Very nice. So tell me how you like. I think Elegy's very taken by this like nature walk in the night. She goes, huh, you see that? Flock of bats. Huh. Oh, and there's a possum hiding in the shrub over there. And look, a moth. You know, she's just like pointing out like all of these like little creatures and animals as you're walking.
As soon as you say possum, okay, I, the player, know that this is a bad idea.
Okay.
I do not condone this behavior. Rose,
Okay.
Rose will kind of like start like making like kissy noises at the possum, who is probably more like bewildered that anyone would have the courage to do that, and just kind of like pads up to like you two, and he just smiles at you and goes, "Possum."
Wow, you really have a way with animals, Rose. How did you learn to do that? It usually takes several years of empiric training to command creatures of the night as I do.
That's the thing. I don't see it as commanding. I think I try to be as friendly as possible, and the animals are just like, well, sure. I can't explain it. It's maybe not a natural gift, just it's something I've been able to do for a while. I have had a lot of scratches, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's a cool party trick. I point down at the possum who's like still there.
I can imagine. Rose, have you ever had an animal that you cared for, an animal that you loved? I'm just gonna double check our lines and veils, actually, before I say what I'm gonna say next.
Yeah,
Okay, this isn't...
Okay, no, go ahead.
This isn't violence necessary. This is like natural death, right? Of animals and pets. Are we okay with that? Like discussing natural death of animals? Or do we want to stay away from that?
I'm okay with that, I think. Yes.
Okay, if it gets to be too much, we can pull back and change the topic. But LG turns to you, Rose, and says, have you ever had an animal that you loved and cared for die in your hands?
In my hands, no, but I can imagine the feeling.
It's painful. A pet, a friend that you forged a connection with. Their little lifespans are so short. But when they're in your lives, they light it up like a firework. That's how I feel about some of the people I meet. Some of you mortals, you humans. like little fireworks when you enter my life. You light it up, you're beautiful, you're incandescent, and then you're gone. What does immortality mean to you, Rose?
I think before you ask that question, I think Rose will kind of like take your hand, lead you to a, like, I don't know, some like really convenient log that's just there, perfect for sitting.
Nice, okay.
And we can skip over this conversation, but we'll kind of just like start pointing at the stars and kind of like relating them to like people he cares about and like animals he cares about, and like we'll kind of encourage you to do the same thing. And I think like the two of us kind of like for the rest of the day until you ask that question, like we'll probably just like share stories of people we've cared about and people who have left, and just talk. But as for going back to the immortality question, Rose looks around and I've thought about this a lot. The immortality, let me see history. This town, and he points back up the path towards Sweetwater, is so constant in a comforting way, and the world outside is terrifying. Everything's always changing, and I know this sounds cynical, but I want the world to stop changing. Not literally, but I want to be able to know the world so well that it stops being terrifying. Just like that possum, who's still there. Before, this possum was a terrifying creature who would probably kill me for one chicken nugget. But now, I mean, look at them. It's just a little baby.
I see. Well, thank you for telling me what it would mean to you, Rose. And she like reaches out and like strokes the possum. And she sort of like forms her other hand into like curls it up and forms it into a fist. And you hear sort of like a chittering all around you as like a swarm of bats just sort of like flutter by and like sort of like fly around almost in like a dance. And Elegy's like looking, like her fist trembling a little, and then she like lets it go and the bats disperse. It's been a long time since I've developed an equitable relationship with the natural world around me. I'm so used to commanding and dominating. Perhaps you could teach me something about what it is to be in a dialogue with someone instead.
Would love that. I mean,
Thank
you're
you,
a very
Rose.
good conversationalist.
Well, I have a lot of anecdotes, believe me. Here, let me tell you about the time I was on the Great Wall. And like goes on and like talks. And I now think we're gonna cut back to like the final, like the announcement of the winner, right? This is like the time you've all been waiting for. You've managed to say your piece, and now we're gonna cut back to Heartbreak Manor and see whose hearts are gonna break and whose hearts are not. Back in the throne room in the foyer, all four of you fresh off from your dates, Noah, Salem, Leanne, and Rose, standing in a line in front of the throne, with Elegy not sitting in the throne, but standing and meeting the four of you as equals, looking each of you in the eye and nodding. And she has a very like taciturn look on her face, a very like she's like deep in thought. And you see a scoreboard sort of lit up behind her, like on the same projection screen, I think, for like that showed like your drama that was recorded through the bear's eyes. And the scoreboard reads Rose 10 bites, Noah 11 bites, Leanne 12 bites, and Salem 14 bites. Noah, Salem, Leanne, Rose. This has been an amazing 3 days. I really cannot thank the four of you enough for coming in to Heartbreak Manor and lighting up my life. For even though this was brief, I feel like I got to know the four of you in a real way. The scores here are not final. They're where you stand currently, but I still have points to give out. 3 final bonus points. And there's like a dun 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 that's playing, and I think we all get a cutaway from each of you. How are you feeling? It literally could go in any direction. Let's go to Rose first.
Rose is smiling, and he says, I feel confident. I mean, the date was lovely. If I don't win, at least there's that.
Okay. Cut to Noah. How are you responding?
That was one of the best dates I've ever been on. And I don't know if the things will tip my way per se, but I've made hopefully some lasting connections, and I'm going to talk to Leanne later about game theory. That sounds very interesting.
Speaking of which, Leanne.
I'm really baffled by how close these scores are, and I mean, Salem is in the lead right now. Like, you would have thought that with all this time, Elegy would have a bit better taste.
Oof.
Ooh. Our classic villain. And now Salem.
You see, Salem is sitting in front of the camera and just kind of is a little bit more quiet rather than flirty or sultry like she's been a little while, and she goes, I know I originally came here looking for, a way to make my mark on this show and attention, but I truly, even if it's not me, I truly do hope that Elegy finds someone to share immortality with.
Okay. We pan back to Elegy, who has like the 3 little like badges, pins in her hand. She goes, my 3 bonus points go to... I'm sorry, I can't do this. And she like folds her hand into a fist. And like all of you like hear like, now we're gonna cut like through the cameras. This entire time we've been watching through the cameras, we're gonna cut onto set where like the lights of like the studio lights are raining down, and you all see like the producers behind the camera. You see the director, Connie, go, "What's happening? What?" Elegy, you're supposed to. Elegy, you have to pick one. Is it gonna be Salem, or is Leanne gonna come up from behind? Whatever's dramatic, And Elegy's gonna turn to the director, Connie, and say, "No, this isn't right. 3 days is not nearly enough time to decide whether or not this is a huge responsibility. I don't think you understand. Immortality is a curse. It can't be taken back. They'll be taken away from their families, their friends, their loved ones. I can't do this. I can't do this." And the director is just stunned. Shit, is this live on Twitch? Can we cut the feed? And as the producer in the back is like scrambling, Elegy turns and says, I've been thinking, and I'm not going to give any of you my bite, but I can introduce you to some friends of mine. And as she turns, coming down from the stairs are 4 other vampires. One of them is like this tall man with sort of like a low-cut tunic and this long flowing red hair. He's got like a chiseled jawline, right? And he's like, looks like he's like carved from like alabaster, right? Except his skin is like deep, like the color of like the roiling ocean. He's coming down, like walking like draped in like this tunic and like these like robes of like flowing like tresses of like flowing gold coming down. And then following him is a woman with this like long white hair that's sort of like tied up, and she has this beautiful headdress on and these robes that look like they were pulled out of like ancient China, right? And she's like floating down the stairs, like coming down, like approaching you, like almost like drifting along on Her Majesty. And the final person you see is this like, I think this like they're genderless. You know what I mean? They've got this like short, like hair shorn on like one side, and like they've got like an eye patch over an eye, right? They look like a freaking pirate or something. They have like a double longswords strapped to their back, and they're wearing this like bomber jacket, right, over these like ripped like jeans, like most similar in aesthetic, I think, to Elegy, and they all come down in Elegy, and like the fourth person, because I said there were 4 vampires, the fourth vampire has freaking wings. This person has like a floating. They have horns coming out of their head that's sort of like attached to at the top to form like a halo almost, and like these like long, like almost like angel like wings, right, that sort of like are fluttering, and they have like a series of spiraling eyes that just sort of like rotate, and like through the camera, like every single camera like cracks as they enter. Their magical presence just wipes out the tech in this space, and this person like floats down like the stairs and like approaches like the throne, right? And Elegy says, "My friends, these are the heads of various covens that I have made friends with. This man, the long flowing like red hair, he is the head of the Bacchanals. Their coven believes in celebrating immortality through pleasure, through getting all the good food you can, learning everything you can about art, experiencing the world, seeing incredible things, leaving your mark as fun and joy and celebrating the good things in life. Leader of the Bacchanals. This," and she gestures toward the like beautiful like woman with like long white hair and like the sort of like ancient Chinese dress on. "She is the leader of the Wardens. They watch over all of society secretly from the shadows and try to enact their will upon the world how they can. The Wardens have prevented many wars in the history of the world, and they always strive to leave the earth better than they found it. This person," and the person with like the eyes and the wings, sort of like flutters and like folds the wings around themselves, and like the bird wings sort of flutter down and turn into leathery bat wings, is the leader of the Paragons. They believe in becoming paragons of Earth, becoming the most powerful magic users, the most, well, you've traveled across dimensions, haven't you? And the eyeballs sort of like swirl and swivel and like fix onto each of you. Yes, this is a pretty intense coven. I don't recommend it unless you have nothing else to live for. And finally, my good friend, I'm just saying it's a huge commitment. I mean, being a vampire is a commitment. Becoming a paragon vampire is an even bigger commitment. And finally, the Wanderers. And you see like the last person with like the eye patch goes, "Hey, this is for if you don't really know where your place is in the world as an immortal. You're an outcast. You live on the fringes of society and you want to find like-minded friends. So the choice is yours. Which of these covens would you like to apprentice under before deciding whether or not you'd like to receive their bite?" I know, that's like a lot to take in.
Out of character question.
Yes.
So, Elegy has said, "None of you for me, but here's 4 people you can choose from."
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. 4 covens. They're like the coven leaders, right? And like instead of being turned into a vampire immediately, you're basically gonna, if you were to go to one of them, you would apprentice under the coven, basically act as like a servant, or like similar to like how like a tattoo apprenticeship works. Like you learn the ropes about their what they're all about, like what being part of the coven would mean, and at the end of like a trial period, you can decide whether or not you want to get turned. Go ahead, Rose.
I think Rose is very interested in the Wanderers. I think, like, Rose is still on the fence about, like, just from the entire talk, still on the fence about immortality, so it's gonna, like, see what they have to offer, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Hey, good choice, my friend. Nice to meet ya. And like the eye patch wearing person strides forward confidently and holds out a hand to greet you.
Rose will shake it back.
They grasp it and they pull you in for like a thump, thump, thump. It's really hard. You swear you hear your ribs crack. Thump, thump, like on the back and release you. "I'm Pan. Nice to meet ya. Welcome to the herd."
Rose is just, like, red. Like, just unable to speak.
Wonderful. Who else is making a choice? Would you want to join a coven? Yes, Leanne.
Yeah, I think that Leanne turns to where a camera would be, wanting to do a cutaway, and realizes that all the cameras have shattered and says, you know, it's fine. I was already dedicating myself to a PhD. What's a little more dedication? And walks over to the Paragons.
Nice. Okay, this like angel vampire, you're not sure, like sort of like the bat wings like flutter open to sort of like admit you under their tutelage. And they say, "You can just call me mother. Come, child."
For the first time, Leanne fully speechless.
Nice. Noah, Salem, do you have an idea of which coven you want to apprentice under?
I think before Salem approaches a coven, she first walks up to Elegy and kind of like her eyes rake over Elegy like up and down and goes, "If we were to go with a coven, would we still be able to see you?"
I belong to no coven. I'm covenless. The reason for this is long and weary and something I can't easily tell in a couple of sentences. But if you want, after Sweetwater, I plan on traveling, and any of you can choose to travel with me if you want.
I think I'd like to take you up on that.
I had a feeling you'd say that. And Elegy like holds out a hand for you to take, Salem.
I take it.
And she pulls you in close. Noah, that leaves you. Which coven are you going for, or none at all?
I think this entire time Noah's just been like really deep in thought. And when it's finally his turn, I think he just lets out like a long sigh. I think he says, "I don't want to come across as ungrateful or dismissive of the opportunity that you've given us with these 4 lovely beings. I think as much as I would like to spend time with any one of them, like, I think Noah's looking at the Paragon and then is like, maybe not you, but the other ones. And I think he says, as much as I would like to spend time apprenticing, my number one priority has been and always will be, at least for this moment, this store that I run. I do not feel ready to leave that all behind at the moment. However, in a couple years or what have you, if you do go traveling, Miss Elegy, I would love to go with you. I think that is something that I would like to make time for in my life.
I'll make sure Salem and I... Sorry, go ahead.
Unfortunately, I cannot... I can't leave this town right now. Not right now.
I completely understand, Noah. I'll make sure that Salem and I, when we're about to go out traveling, swing by. All right then. Pan, Mother, looks like you've got yourself 2 new blood bags. I mean apprentices. Just kidding. Yeah, the vampires all laugh, but you're like, oh, were they kidding? Or wait, what's going on? Dionysus, Shen, thank you for heeding the call. Well, I suppose this is where we part ways. It was lovely to meet all 4 of you.
Thank you. The pleasure was all mine.
Certainly. And Salem, thank you for choosing me.
Any day.
At the end of the night, really, it's not about who I choose, it's about who chooses Me. And Elegy is gonna lean in and try to kiss you, Salem, if you will let her.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, Elegy leans in, kisses you as like all of you are surrounded by these like godlike vampires, right? And like each other and the contestants, right? And like the director scrambling, like, is Ed iPhone? Can we get a shot of this, please? As like we pull out, right, of like the manor with like Elegy dipping Salem in a kiss and the other vampires surrounding you, the contestants as like, like the Twitch chat erupts into clapping. We like pull out of Heartbreak Manor off of this hill and we pan up to this beautiful full moon glowing in the night sky over Sweetwater. And that has been our I Want Your Bite one shot. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Let's do some introductions before we do one last plug for the charity. I've been your GM, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You could find me on Twitter, Patreon at by Connie Chong. That's BYCONNIECHANG. By is in the authorial sign off, not the sexuality, though I am both. When I'm not doing cool things on Utopia, I am the GM and producer behind Transplanar RPG, which is an all transgender people of color led 100% homebrew Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition live streamed actual play campaign set in an original non-colonial anti-orientalist world. If that's cool to you, tune in Saturdays at 3 p.m. US Central Time at Transplanar RPG or listen to our podcast. New episodes drop every Tuesday. With that, I'm going to pass along introductions to Alyssa.
You are muted.
Oh no! Okay, sorry. Hi y'all, I'm Alyssa. You can find me on Twitter or on itch at A Disaster Queer, and you can also find me Monday nights playing Monster Hearts with Gaina Gaming. And newly, Well Seasoned Stories at Season Stories on Twitter has just released. It's an all BIPOC, incredibly queer podcast. Our first episode just dropped today. We have ones later this week, including a lovely recording with Chrome. So come check us out.
Fantastic. Alyssa, why don't you pass along introductions to someone else?
Yeah, let's go to Ravi.
Hello, I'm Ravi. My pronouns are he and they. You can find me on Twitter at RJKakad That's RJKAKKAD Games. You can find me on itch by the same username. I don't have much to plug, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get updates. Thank you for coming. Chrome, go ahead.
Hey y'all! My name is Chrome Rahman, and I'm your local college guy trying hard to survive in Panna Cotta.
Yeet.
Yep. I use they, he pronouns, and I have a lot of works in progress right now, so not a lot to plug other than just things that I'm currently trying to finish. But this October, I'm going to be in a stream on Saturdays with TRPG. T is in, the first T is in like the tea that you drink. And we're going to be playing Monster Hearts 2. And then, coming up November 6th, I am going to be playing in an Extra Life charity stream with Valdera Gaming. And that's going to be lit. So follow me on Twitter at Carlos Borealis for updates. I make art.
Heck yeah, let's go to Nala.
Hello, everybody. I have been Nala. I also go by Jay. Either name is cool with me. You can find me on Twitter at NalaWoo. I also have an art Twitter at Nala Draws. I am a professional illustrator who works in tabletop games. I also do fantasy sci-fi illustration, concept art for animation or games. I am looking for a job. I'm going to graduate from the Savannah College of Art and Design this November, and I am looking for full-time work. I am literally willing to move almost anywhere in the world, so, hire me. Besides art, I enjoy writing, and I also do freelance authenticity editing, sensitivity reading, cultural consulting, all that stuff. You can find all that information in my pinned tweet. And what else is there to plug? Oh yes, the vampire portraits. You'll see on our overlay right above Connie's beautifully handsome face a portrait that is a part of a diverse vampires portrait collection that I am project lead for. It is dropping tonight. The only thing it's waiting on is me figuring out how to finish layout and post to itch.io. My itch is Nala Draws. Nala Draws is also the social media for any other social media I do have. It's going to be Nala Draws. But this portrait specifically was created by Adrian, who is at Defenestratin, I believe, on Twitter. But all that information will be on the pack, the portrait collection. Follow at Nala Draws on Twitter. I will announce there once I finally manage to get it published. But that will be for sale at a minimum price of $15, suggested price $30. But fun fact, all of the art altogether is worth $975. These artists have put so much of their time and effort into this collection, and we want to help bring diverse vampires to your games, your characters, your writing, what have you. So buy it if you wanna. And also just want to say thank you everyone for coming out and for helping us raise money for this wonderful charity. Thank you.
Yes, thank you everyone, and thank you for that outro, Nala, Chrome, Ravi, and Alyssa. It was so amazing to play with all of you. I'm gonna pass the baton along to our disembodied voice, Jess, our producer.
Yes.
That is me. I am your disembodied voice. Thank you. First off, thank you so much for chat, for being here. Second, thank you so much. This has been an amazing cast. Sometimes some of you are first-time streamers. Like, this was beautiful. I'm so proud of you. The drama, the queerness, the vampires. Oh, you brought so much energy and life to this premiere show, and we are over halfway to our initial goal of $300 for this charity, raising money for the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America. Wow. That was beautiful. We ran a little long, but that's okay. We're gonna raid. Let's see who we're gonna raid. Who is live here?
Schlive.
Oh, yeah. Okay, a fellow PSC who is a part of the HW Discord, Valdrianth, is live playing some tabletop RPGs. We're gonna raid them. Do make sure, as the audience members, take a break, hydrate, eat dinner if it's dinner time. I will be back this time as a face, along with another organizer, Morgan, and we're gonna be talking about the actual games that existed and got submitted to the BIPOC Vamp Jam, with a special edition of Game at a Glance that will be in an hour and a half. That is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Times, or Daylight Savings Times, whatever. But yeah, I appreciate you all and hope to see you there. Bye.
Thank you for coming.